Back in Philadelphia on a 57-degree afternoon, the 6-4 Eagles, the 3-7 Redskins. Eagles defeated the Redskins back in late October, 27-17, and Daryl, both teams without a number of key players today.
Yeah, Albert Hainsworth, the game time decision, he's not going to be able to go because of that ankle, but you can see the reason that Washington has had such a tough year. Chris Cooley, Clinton Portis out. Jim Zorn has done a tremendous job keeping this team together. We had him a couple weeks ago in Atlanta, and they just continue to play hard, even with the season spiraling out of control. And there's the model of consistency, this Philadelphia Eagle franchise. One of the things that I've always felt the Redskins have not been able to do is establish continuity because of change. The opposite side of that spectrum is the Philadelphia Eagles, very consistent over the last decade.
The Eagles won the toss, but deferred an onside kick attempt by Akers. There is a penalty flag as Quinton Ganther brings it back to the Eagles' 23-yard line.
I think we got an illegal touch by a Philadelphia Eagle player, so this should stand. It's a great call. It's just poorly executed by the Philadelphia Eagles. They completely caught the Washington Redskins off guard, and they just did not execute it.
We have seen early onside kicks from Andy Reid before, including a season opener down in Dallas.
David Akers does a great job, gives nothing away. Then at the last second, he gets over, gets that ball.
Going 10 yards, we have illegal touching on the kicking team. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down, Washington.
You know what? You roll the dice. Andy Reid, that shows you a lot about what Andy Reid thinks of this Washington team. This defense for the Redskins is good. They're going to have their struggles offensively today, but Andy Reid respects this team enough as a divisional opponent, regardless of their record right now, to come out and start the game with an onside kick.
Totally caught him off guard, Daryl.
Oh, they were,
whole front line didn't know.
They were gone. There was 20 yards to work with there. They just didn't execute it.
So the Redskins start from the Eagles' 19-yard line. They hand off to Rock Cartwright. He's tackled by Jaquay Parker after a gain of 2. Jason Campbell has won both of his career starts in this stadium. Cartwright starting with Portis and Betts both out. And a new right guard for the Redskins, the rookie out of Maryland, Edwin Williams.
And that's the problem for the Redskin offense, is that group of 5 right there. It's been in flux all season long.
2nd and 8 from the Eagles 17 as Campbell connects with Santana Moss, pushed out of bounds at the 10-yard line of the Eagles, gain of 7.
One of the other things you don't think about when you start a game with an onside kick is how much confidence you have in your defense, because if it does go wrong, if you don't execute it, which Philadelphia did not do, you have the confidence that this group right here will go out on the field and hold the opposition to a field goal.
Eagles defense ranked 8th. 3rd down and 1. Campbell out of the shotgun. 3 wide receivers. Campbell's pass is caught by Randall L. Picks up a 1st down. Tackled just shy of the goal line.
This is the MO of the Redskin offense. Short passes. Surprised to see kind of a zone-style coverage down here by the Eagles. I don't know if Joe Mays was playing a wrong type of coverage or if the Eagles had full zone across the board, but what you don't want to do to Jason Campbell is give him time. Give him tight coverage, man-to-man. Make him have accurate throws all afternoon. If you play zone, you're making it easy on him.
Marcus Mason re-signed this week in the backfield. 1st and goal from the 1. Off the fake to Mason. Campbell takes it in for the touchdown.
That's one thing that this Eagles defense needs to do, is keep Jason in front of him. Jason Campbell can use his legs. He can scramble. You see him tuck the ball away. That was a design play. It wasn't a botch play. He was looking to go and run that ball into the end zone. That's exactly what he did.
Yeah, good job by Mark Mason getting a block on Quentin Michael. As you pointed out, Tony, little run fake. He goes out, gets the critical block.
So the Redskins score on their opening drive, given a short field following the onside kick. 7-0 Washington.
Is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on.
Good start to this game for the Redskins. Take advantage of the short field. Jason Campbell's third career rushing touchdown.
That's what we're going to see from the Washington Redskins today. You're going to run. You're going to be a little bit conservative on first down. We talked about them needing to have production on first down, stay ahead of the chains. It's going to be short, controlled passes. Every once in a while, they'll take a shot down the field off play action, but that's exactly how the Redskin offense will function today.
Short kickoff by Sean Sweezen. Macho Harris dives to field it at the 21-yard line.
Let's go back and take a look at this onside kick that the Eagles tried to do. Joe Mays right here, number 51. He's going to be a little bit antsy on this one. He's going to get too far ahead. The ball's going to bump him. Now he's going up. He's going to block this guy right here to make sure he can't kick it. But look at the execution. It's a live ball at the 40-yard line. Look at all that space. They've got 10 yards that they're going to be able to recover that ball in. It's hit Joe Mays' foot early. That's the illegal touch, and that knocks it further down the field. But that play was there to be made. They just didn't execute it.
So now the Eagles trailing by 7. Start from their own 21-yard line. Donovan McNabb on first down. Complete to Jeremy Macklin. Macklin out across the 30 to the 32, gain of 11.
Well, one of the big things about this offense is their quick strike ability. Now we're getting to the month of December, and all of a sudden you got to kind of think that, hey, we got to lean on the run game, the screen game. But I tell you, the Philadelphia Eagles pull off a beautiful day here in Philadelphia. This is nicer than any October day up here. They're still going to be able to throw the ball down the field, use that explosive capability in this offense.
On first and 10 from the 32, the pass tipped at the line. Looked like Jeremy Jarman, the rookie out of Kentucky, got a piece of it.
Listen, I think you're absolutely right with the weather conditions. It's calm as can be down here. Both of these quarterbacks got to be happy they're not catching one of those December days, the wind swirling.
Oh, it definitely changed what you're going to do. And the last thing Donovan wants is something that shrinks his package against this defense. You talked about him, Tony. They don't look like a 3-7 defense.
On second and 10, big hole and a first down for LaShawn McCoy as he crosses midfield and takes it into Washington Redskins territory, a gain of 19.
One of the best things that Philadelphia has done, they finally decided on who their starting 5 is going to be on that offensive line. Now they get a chance to gel. Todd Herman is one of the more underrated offensive linemen in the NFL, and guess where that ball went? That ball went right over where Albert Hainsworth would be.
Hainsworth missing his second consecutive game. It's McCoy again, and he spins down to the 43, gain of 6.
Missed tackle on the defensive line. McCoy goes and does a great job of running through an arm tackle. That should have been stopped on the line of scrimmage. Take a look right here. Running right through the arm tackle of Cornelius Griffith and getting that yardage. For a young guy, he runs hard, Daryl.
I tell you right now, they've got Fred Smoot out here on the bottom in a one-on-one. You can see him limping. They're already thin at the corner position. They got to recognize that. Take a shot right down here.
Redskins without the injured D'Angelo Hall today. As McNabb hits the tight end, Brent Selleck, for a first down. There is a flag.
Yeah, it looks like one of the players tried to run off. They're going to get called for 12 men on the field.
Defense, 12 men on the field. Number 20 did not get off the field prior to the snap. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
Justin Tryon did not get off. Gain of 15. Eagles declined the penalty. First and 10 from the Washington 28. Leonard Weaver picks up another first down. Weaver's done a nice job this season for the Eagles. After spending 4 years in Seattle, gain of 18.
Well, this is very impressive by this Philadelphia Eagle offense. I mean, they're running right into the heart of this Redskin defense. Here comes Leonard Weaver right at you. Great blocking up front. Look at the hole.
That was a nice job by Leonard Weaver finding a hole. He didn't follow the one guy who was pulling. He just saw the hole and took it. That's exactly what you got to do. That's an adjustment you got to make as a running back or a fullback on the line of scrimmage when it happens.
Eagles averaging 14 yards per carry on this drive. First and goal from the 10. McNabb over the top to the 5-yard line. Jason Avant. London Fletcher brought him down.
That little signal right there that you saw was a huddle up that McNabb actually gave. He wanted his players actually huddle up, putting his two hands together, fingers together, because they do have a fast pace right now, and it's called a lot of stuff on the line of scrimmage.
Michael Vick in for the first time today. Second and goal from the Redskins 5. Vick takes off, gains 4. Down to the 1. He gained 34 yards on one scramble Sunday night in Chicago.
Yeah, but that's almost half the yards he's had all season as the quarterback. And this is not Wildcat. This is Zebra personnel with Michael Vick at quarterback. And that's one of the distinctions that is going to get cloudy as we move forward with Michael Vick here in Philadelphia and Pat White down in Miami. The Wildcat is when you have a running back. When you start putting guys who are quarterbacks into that position, you know, most people around the NFL don't qualify that as a Wildcat.
Third and goal from Johnston. Outside the 1 off the fake to McCoy. McNabb looking end zone. He throws. He was looking for the tight end, Alex Smith.
Looks like he had Alex Smith early, but it was a good job by Donovan just getting rid of that ball. A lot of defenders there. Something bad could have happened. They do not want turnovers.
Alex Smith does a good job selling it, gets inside. Here he comes down to that corner. Rocky McIntosh does a good job falling off. You heard some boos here in the crowd from the Philadelphia Eagle fans, but I think if Donovan McNabb kind of throws it on a line, doesn't get that loft on it like he did, that Rocky McIntosh is going to drop right into the spot to intercept that.
And Andy Reid leads the offense out. 4th and goal. McNabb looking. He fires. Touchdown. Wide open. Deshaun Jackson. There is a flag.
Might have been one of those inadvertent picks that happens from time to time, Tony.
That's interference. Offense. Number 87. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 4th down.
Brett Selleck.
Sometimes down here on the goal line, you have your routes get really, really close to each other, and
you just can't put your arms up like that, like you're blocking. Selleck's got to do a better job of just running into him with his chest. All he needs is 1 second, really.
But that's not even what I was thinking, Tony. I expected to see, you know, like some type of crossing route where Brett kind of bumped into somebody. He didn't even need to do that to Rocky McIntosh on his route. You know, get in and out of that break on your route. He had no effect on the route that came in behind him for the touchdown.
I would have liked to see Michael Vick back in there running the quarterback draw again. I think that's going to be a problem for the Redskins defense.
And Goose from the right hash. David Akers hits from 29. He's made 13 consecutive attempts.
The difference is drinkability.
Eagles drive 10 plays, 68 yards. Held to a field goal following the Brett Selleck penalty.
Yeah, it was a, you know, he extended his arms. That's a big thing. When you get in there, once your arms get extended, it's like when there's a lot of holding that goes on during the course of the game. But once the guy breaks away and you've got that jersey extended, you're going to get called too.
Akers kickoff taken at the 2 by Devin Thomas. Thomas across the 25. Forced out of bounds. Just shy of the 30 by Quinton Michael, a 28-yard return.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Ford, inviting you to drive one. By Yellow Book, the moment you need it, Yellow Book it. And by AT&T. Your world delivered.
Back in Philadelphia, Redskins scored on their opening drive following an onside kick attempt by the Eagles. Washington leads 7-3.
Botched, Kenny. We like to call those botched.
Botched onside attempt. Rock Cartwright up the middle. Cartwright making his first start since the last game of the 2003 season against the Eagles. He started the last 3 games that year and has not started a game since.
Look at that last week against the Dallas Cowboys, jumping in when Liddell Betts went down. 140 total yards. If you're going to have a good team, you need to have 3 or 4 Rock Cartwright type players on your roster that do everything. Special teams, somebody gets hurt, they jump in. Whatever you want them to do, they just love playing the game.
Second down and 4. It's Cartwright again. He picks up a first down out across the 40s. We check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. Kurt?
This is a bit hard to see, but this pass from Jake Delhomme goes off the back of Steve Smith's foot right into the hands of Daryl Revis of the Jets. He returns the interception 67 yards, and the Jets have a lead 7-0 on a oops play by Carolina. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt. Jets looking to end a 3-game losing streak. Redskins lead the Eagles here 7-3. First and 10 from the 41-yard line as Campbell throws, and a diving attempt is made by Santana Moss.
Jason Campbell is so gun-shy because of the protection problems this year that even when he senses pressure and he doesn't really have it, he's moving in the pocket. Didn't really need to step this way. Don't know if that affected his throw to Santana Moss.
Still, that's a ball that Santana needs to catch.
Absolutely. There is very little margin for error with the Redskins.
You won't see Santana drop many of those.
Second and 10, 3 wide receivers. The slant is caught out at the 47-yard line by the second-year tight end out of USC, Fred Davis, gain of 5.
You know, it's got to be frustrating, Daryl, for the defense. On everything's a 3-step drop. The plays come out, and the ball comes out so fast for this Eagles defense. It puts a lot of pressure on that linebacking crew and that secondary to play close to their man because they know that ball's coming out so fast.
A lot of that pressure goes onto that defensive line. Get into those throwing lanes. Get your hands up.
Flags prior to the snap.
False start. Offense, number 50. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's the rookie right guard, Edwin Williams, making his first career start.
Yeah, he's a big body. He jumped in last week when Chad Reinhardt went down. Had the opportunity to go with Will Montgomery, who's had a couple of starts this year, but Jim Zorn elected to go with Edwin Williams. He likes him. He's a bigger body. He anchors that guard position for him. He did a nice job on film. You watched him on film in that Cowboy game, and for the first time being thrown out there on the field in the NFL, I thought he did a good job.
3rd down and 10 following the false start. Campbell's pass is off the hands of Davis. Redskins send out the punting unit.
There's the pressure you talked about, Daryl, on Campbell. He's going to get that ball out. But another good throw. That's a catchable ball.
Hunter Smith punting from his own 30 to Deshaun Jackson, who leads the NFL in punt return average. Jackson stays on his feet. Across the 30, the 40. Oh, and he's dragged down from behind by Kareem Moore.
This is a great individual effort by Deshaun Jackson. Reverses field, and watch, he's 1 step away from going for 6.
At the Ford year-end sales event, the excitement's in the air because the deals.
Donovan McNabb today, his 137th career start, ties Ron Jaworski's franchise record. Also breaks.
Is that Ron Jaworski right there?
That's Jaws Goose. And Donovan today also breaks Kowarski's record for games played by an Eagles quarterback, his 143rd. Following the 28-yard return by Deshaun Jackson, this is LaShawn McCoy, and he's tackled at the Redskins' 44-yard line after a gain of 7.
Good quick decision by Donovan McNabb on that play. Had LaShawn McCoy right there on the swing route. Just take that. Take it right away. You've got a group of players with you out there on the field that are very elusive in the open field. Get the ball into their hands.
Second down and 3. It's McCoy again to the 42. Stopped a yard shy of the marker by Kedrick Golston. So the Eagles now facing 3rd down and 1.
Well, you really hate to miss some of your key guys during training camp, and Brian Westbrook was not able to participate during the bulk of training camp because of an ankle injury he was trying to get over, and LaShawn McCoy took the majority of the routes, and that's really paid off now with Brian Westbrook out of the lineup.
Michael Vick's second play today.
I think we're going to see that quarterback draw again, Daryl.
3rd down and 1. It's close.
I don't know about that one, Goose.
Can't turn your back.
Yeah.
Might have been a good opportunity for a pass on that one. Everybody was playing the run on that whole defense. Look at that whole, look at the defense. Everybody's up on the line of scrimmage, penetrating. It's a good job by them.
Well, you pointed out, Tony, at the end of that run, he's got his back turned. If he can keep his shoulders square and pointed upfield, there's an opportunity for him to get that first down, because he'll be able to stretch and extend and be able to break that plane. But when he turns his shoulders and tries to push, he loses all opportunity to extend the ball.
All right, Daryl, what do you do here?
Well, you've already onside kicked to start the game. You've gone for it on 4th down, down right on the goal line. You know he's going for it again.
Yeah, why not?
I come out and call a running play to LaShawn McCoy behind Leonard Weaver, right to where Albert Hainsworth should be in the lineup. But that's me. They open the whole formation up.
Split backs. It's Weaver, the fullback.
What a great hit.
I can't believe you weren't going to say, give it to Weaver. Multi-purpose fullback. That's exactly what they did, went over the top.
I tell you, somebody made a great play. Hit Leonard Weaver right as he left his feet. Let's see if it's Rocky McIntosh, 52. Sure looks like it. That's a heck of a job by Rocky. Watch him make the contact as Leonard goes up and over.
Yeah, stops him right in his tracks. And I think he got right where he needed to get.
Of course, a Rocky would make a big hit in this city.
Yes. Yeah, we got Rock Cartwright, Rocky McIntosh, but they're playing on the wrong team.
Well, Weaver picks up the first down from the Redskins 40. McNabb goes to his right, chased by HB Blades, and throws it away.
Talking about Leonard Weaver on that play as a fullback, does a great job of taking on a blitzer and gives Donovan some time. Watch him here on the outside. Goes, picks up. I mean, that's not just a blitzer. That's a defensive end right there.
Now 2nd and 10 from the Redskins 40. LaShawn McCoy inside the 35. Reed Doughty made the tackle. Gain of 5 for the rookie out of Pitt, Tony's alma mater.
Yeah, not too happy with that West Virginia. West Virginia played them really tough this weekend, and they lost with that last-minute field goal. Me and McCoy were talking about it, but
looking ahead.
Yeah,
LaShawn looking ahead. We got
you don't want to talk about Syracuse at all, do you, Daryl? Anytime, we'll give you a little.
Hey, we doubled our win total from last season. We're headed in the right direction.
Speaking of Syracuse, here's McNabb on 3rd down and 5. He was a 360, and then he throws to the end zone. Guess who? Deshaun Jackson.
If you're a Washington Redskin defender, there's one guy out there on the field that you probably want to keep track of, and that's number 10, Deshaun Jackson. He really single-handedly responsible for that first loss at 27-17 with 2 huge plays. Some old school Donovan McNabb breaking contain and then eyes always downfield. And I just do not understand how you turn Deshaun Jackson loose. And Fred Smoot doesn't carry him, thinks he's got help over the top. There's no safeties anywhere.
That's just wide open.
Oof.
Jackson's shortest touchdown of the season. His first 7 averaged 64 yards. This one 35 yards from McNabb to Jackson. 10-7 Eagles.
Hey, honey.
Redskins defense burned once again by Deshaun Jackson, his 3rd touchdown in 2 games against Washington this season.
And they lost him on the touchdown on the 4th down play on the goal line too. He was in the back of the end zone all by himself with nobody around. So the Redskins have lost track of one of the big weapons on this Eagles offense twice in the first quarter.
Looks like the Washington Redskins are still trying to figure out what happened on that play.
So the Eagles have their first lead. Akers sails it through the end zone. So Jason Campbell and the Redskins offense back out, trailing by 3.
You see that wristband that Jason Campbell's wearing. Now he's got almost the entire game plan on that wristband, and that was put together by offensive assistant coach Chris Might, who Jason Campbell refers to as his quarterback coach. And it helps with this convoluted way of calling the plays in this Redskin offense. And I give Jason Campbell a tremendous amount of credit because they have not had one delay of game penalty during this entire transition from Sherm Lewis to the coordinator.
On first down, Ron Cartwright out of the backfield by Jaquay Parker.
All right, let's take a look at how this happens. All right, during the course of the week, Chris Might and Jim Zorn are going to come up with a game plan. And then they're going to have that game plan up in the booth, and these two are going to talk. Now, if they want to run a pass play, Sherman Lewis is going to call that play down to Sherman Smith, and he's going to give it to Jason Campbell. If he wants a run, he's going to tell Sherman Smith to call the run. He'll pick the run, and then he'll send it into Jason Campbell. But the crazy thing is, these two don't talk much during the week. Jason Campbell and Sherm Lewis don't talk much during the week.
Campbell on second down and 11, looking for Fred Davis. Pressure from Jaquay Parker.
A lot of that conversation during the course of the week is Jason Campbell with Chris Might and Jim Zorn. And even on the night before the game, they'll sit down and they'll script their first 15. Now everything comes through Sherman Smith. That's coming from Sherm Lewis up top down to Sherman Smith. If it's a run, Sherman Smith is the one who's responsible for calling that. So, you know, he's got to be ready on every snap with a run in his mind because of all the processes that have to go on and to prevent that delay of game penalty from happening. It's amazing to watch this thing function as smoothly as it does.
On third and 11, Campbell to Cartwright. And Ron Cartwright, terrific effort, picks up a first down. Cartwright out to the 34-yard line, gain of 14 as we check in once again with Kurt.
A great start for Houston as they try to hand Indianapolis its first defeat. Chris Brown takes it from 5 yards out. That makes it 14-0. The Texans have just picked off Peyton Manning and are marching, trying to go up 3 scores. Kenny Moose and Deuce.
Thanks, Kurt. Playing from behind, nothing new for Peyton Manning and the Colts. They've actually trailed in the fourth quarter in each of their last 4 games.
Everybody remembers that big one against New England. I turned it off.
This is Quinton Ganther who recovered the early onside kick. He was ruled down. Eagles started the game with the onside kick. It was recovered by Ganther.
It's one of those shots at the end of a run. You're starting to go down and you get that defensive back that comes in, hits you full go. I took one of those one time from Ronnie Lott. Everybody asked me, what's the hardest hit you've ever taken in the NFL? It was something similar to that, where you're running the ball and you're kind of exposed and vulnerable, and then you got number 42 coming at you on a beeline.
I thought it was the hit you took from Goose in our touch football game up in Green Bay.
That's second.
On second and 5, a couple of nice moves by Ganther, the former Tennessee Titan, and he's out to the 48-yard line, a gain of 10.
Well, Daryl, you talked about it earlier about this offense. They're chipping away. They're moving the ball around. They're running the ball, short passes. I mean, this is exactly what this offense wants to do. And Philadelphia needs to go and start stopping this run, because that's what their main objective today was, keep the run going.
Again, the Redskins without Clinton Portis, without Liddell Betts. We've seen a lot of Rock Cartwright. And Ganther, as Campbell hits Devin Thomas. Thomas out to midfield, a gain of 2. And that will take us to the end of the first quarter here in Philadelphia, with the Eagles leading the Redskins 10-7. We'll be back in a moment.
Say you're on a call with a client and he
on Blu-ray and DVD.
What a day in Philadelphia on November 29th.
Unbelievable that December is only 2 days away and we have this type of weather in the Philadelphia area. It's nicer than when we were here in early October.
It is. Down on the field it is.
What was that, late October?
Yep.
Eagles lead the Redskins 10-7 as we begin the second quarter. Empty backfield on second down and 8. Campbell, the tight end Davis, and he's wrapped up by a trio of Eagles. Loss of a yard.
On that previous play, Asante Samuel came up to make the tackle, and this is a function of a guy who's battling some stingers. Watch 22 come up. I mean, that's terrible technique on a tackle. He's thrown his shoulder in there. Now, he's thrown his shoulder in there because he's been battling some stingers, and if you go in there with your helmet and you see what you hit the way you're supposed to do in the NFL, you run the risk of getting that burner down your arm again. And Andy Reid talked to him after that play. We'll have to watch and see. You don't want to be on the field if you're not helping your team. And if Asante Samuel can't tackle because he's got an injury with those burners, then he needs to be off the field.
Third down and 9 for the Redskins. Campbell complete. And a first down. Devin Thomas makes the catch. Needed 9 and he gains 13.
Well, that's the second 3rd and long that they've converted on this drive. Rock Cartwright got the first one on a 3rd and 11. Devin Thomas down here on this one. Great release off the line against Quentin Demps. Gets him to turn a little bit, slaps him by, gets inside on the slant route. A great release.
Nice play of the drive for the Redskins from the Eagles 39. Cartwright down to the 31-yard line. Will Witherspoon made the tackle, a gain of 8 for Rock Cartwright.
We had the Redskins 3 games ago in Atlanta, and it was 24-3 at the end of the first half. And then Jim Zorn, Joe Bugel, they challenged this team about playing the game with emotion and with passion. And since that time, this has been a different group. They came out in the 3rd quarter of that game, had 2 long touchdown drives. They've played very, very well since that halftime tirade down in Atlanta.
Beat Denver at home the next week. This is Cartwright again. Not much. And then last week, shut out the Dallas Cowboys for over 57 minutes before losing 7-6.
And you can just see it in their approach to the game. And Jim Zorn challenged them about just their tempo to the line of scrimmage. You know, there's no excitement. There's no. It doesn't even look like you guys are enjoying your time out there. So as you see them today, you'll see them in the last couple of games on film. They move from the huddle to the line of scrimmage. I'm not saying they're running, but they're moving with a purpose. And they get up, they get set. They allow Jason Campbell time at the line of scrimmage. Looks much different than it did in that first half of the Atlanta game.
Third down and 2. 3 wide receivers. Campbell to the outside, and the catch is made by Malcolm Kelly inside the Eagles' 5-yard line. 27 yards as the Redskins convert yet another 3rd down.
What a nice throw right here. He is not going to have a lot of room for air here. Asante Samuel, stride for stride, a little bit inside, gives him some space on the outside, but that ball is put in the exact right spot by Jason Campbell. That's a nice throw.
Malcolm Kelly, 2nd-round pick last year out of Oklahoma. And the Redskins are now 4 of 5 on 3rd down today. First and goal from the 4. Campbell, a pump fake. Now he throws it through the end zone.
One thing, that defensive line for the Eagles, they can't go and lull themselves to sleep. With all the short passes, you know, they're taking 1 and 2 steps, and then they're getting their hands up to try and block, block a ball or something like that. They got to keep coming, because Jason Campbell's right now, he's pumping, faking downfield, and they need to go and put more pressure on him so he doesn't have the time to complete those passes. Because if you give him time, he will complete the passes downfield.
Marcus Mason in the backfield, 2nd and goal. 3 wide receivers. Campbell to Moss. Touchdown. Santana Moss. His first touchdown the last 7 games, and the Redskins go back on top.
You know it's a bad situation when you got guys looking at each other after a play, and Macho Harris and Jeremiah Trotter are staring at each other trying to figure out how Santana Moss gets that easy of a release off the line of scrimmage when you're inside the 5-yard line.
Looked like Jeremiah Trotter bid on that play action. He was playing the run, and by the time he got a chance to get to the outside, it's already a touchdown, Santana Moss.
Sweezen adds the extra point. 3rd touchdown reception of the season for Moss. 14-10 Redskins.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Miller Lite. There's light beer, and then there's triple hops brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. By DirecTV. No one else has all your favorite channels in HD. And by Campbell's Chunky Soup. Hearty, delicious, nutritious.
Back in Philadelphia, Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. A 13-play, 80-yard drive as the Redskins convert 3 times on 3rd down.
And long 3rd downs, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11, and those are the areas that Washington is trying to stay out of offensively. And usually when you're talking about the Philadelphia defense, they're very, very good in 3rd and long situations. So nice job by that Redskin offense on that drive.
Sweezen's kickoff is through the end zone, so the Eagles will start from their own 20. Early 2nd quarter, they trail the Redskins by 4.
Unstoppable.
Jeremy Jarman of the Redskins injured during the kickoff before we went to break.
An already thin defensive line with Albert Hainsworth out, and that's not the only guy missing. Look at all these guys for this Washington Redskin team. Key players, the running game, the passing game, protection, guys up front, guys in the defensive line. Look at the number of career starts, 639 starts between the guys who are out of the lineup today for the Washington Redskins, and 14 Pro Bowls.
This past Monday, Redskins placed 3 players on injured reserve. They signed 3 new players. They lead this game 14-10. Eagles start from their own 20. Off the fake, end around. McNabb fires downfield. Intended for Macklin, who wanted a flag. And there is a flag back at the 13-yard line. Not the flag the Eagles were looking for.
Holding, offense, number 74, 10-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
Right tackle Winston Justice.
This is a long throw. You're going to see all the fakes. Now remember, there was a big play on the reverse to Deshaun Jackson the first game. Donovan McNabb puts the ball behind his back a little bit. You saw the hold by Winston Justice at the end. Jeremy Macklin, a tremendous amount of speed. Yeah, how can you let these guys get behind you? No lessons learned from the first game.
First game back in late October, won by the Eagles, 27-17. First down and 20 following the penalty. Shovel pass to McCoy. And McCoy, there's another flag. McCoy takes it out to the 24-yard line, a gain of 14.
I love watching the Eagles screen game. It is by far the best in the NFL. This team is the best in the NFL at running screens.
Ineligible member downfield offense, number 57, 5-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
Not just running the screen down, like setting it up. LaShawn McCoy does a great job with the fake in the middle.
He makes a great decision on this one, Tony, because they're running a stunt, and they've got the end coming inside, and he lets him go. Watch LaShawn McCoy. There's going to be a defender that comes free. Right there, you could do a chip. Nope, I'm just going to slide over here because I know I'm going to get the little shovel pass. That's a great decision of getting yourself clear and giving the quarterback the alley to get the ball to you. Now they just got to stop committing penalties.
The center, Jamal Jackson, was downfield illegally. McNabb out of the end zone to the tight end, Selleck. Red Selleck out to the 14-yard line, a gain of 9. Selleck, the Eagles' leading receiver, his 52nd catch this season. The Eagles now facing a 2nd and 16, thanks to the 2 penalties against their offensive line. Jackson split to the left. Macklin to the right. Avant in the slot. 2nd and 16. As McNabb is pulled down back at the 13-yard line by Andre Carter.
There you go, Goose. Pressure with 4.
That's right. The 2 inside guys go. They make him step up. Andre Carter does a nice job of just sliding to the inside. Andre Carter's down here at the bottom. He goes and gets a chip block to slow him down. And that's a good thing, because he would have been upfield, and Donovan McNabb would have had a lot more time to flip downfield and get a throw down there.
9th sack of the season for Carter. First Redskins sack today. 3rd down and 17. Eagles must get to the 30 for a first down. And McNabb's pass deflected by Philip Daniels.
And he was the guy who made Donovan pull it down on the last play, so Andre Carter could get the sack. So Philip Daniels sliding to the inside right now, giving Nick Cole some trouble at that right guard spot.
Could have been another hold. Grabs his jersey and slows him down. The Eagles' offensive line needs to watch themselves.
Santana Moss back deep, awaiting Sav Rocca's punt. Rocca inconsistent last week in Chicago. Out of bounds right around the 45-yard line. Terrific field position for the Redskins.
We don't do this, or this for just any old sport. No, we only do this for football.
This is sponsored by Visa. Visa debit is easier than cash. More people go with Visa.
As we went to break, Eldra Buckley of the Eagles was flagged for a personal foul.
Yeah. Take a look right here as they go down. Watch this left foot right there. Not inadvertent contact to the head by Eldra Buckley.
He's got to understand there's a lot of cameras out there. You can't be doing that stuff.
Buckley on Chris Wilson. Well, coming up next, the second half of our Fox NFL doubleheader. Most of you will see the Bears and the Vikings. Coming up following the Eagles and the Redskins. Titans will host the Arizona Cardinals as well. That's coming up. Game 2 of our Fox doubleheader. Vikings 9-1. Bears coming off their loss to the Eagles on Sunday night.
Very surprised at how Jay Cutler has played this season for the Chicago Bears. I thought that was a good signing in the offseason.
Here's Cartwright. Cartwright modeled up by Witherspoon and Michael. And how about the Tennessee Titans? After losing their first 6 games, they've won 4 in a row. Vince Young has won his last 8 starts overall. They will host Arizona. 2nd down and 9. Campbell steps up. And his throw is deflected by Robert Buckley.
Trent Cole bringing the pressure on the outside. He's forcing Jason Campbell to step up, but the guys inside got to start getting some pressure at those defensive tackle spots. Roderick Bunkley, Mike Patterson, they got to get some push in the middle. Trent Cole is working hard on the outside, forcing Jason Campbell up inside, but nobody's there to clean up.
This Washington Redskins team is picking the tempo up, calling the plays on the line of scrimmage.
Redskins 4 or 5 on 3rd down, Goose. Campbell over the middle, and it's broken up. Intended for Mike Sellers. Nice play to break it up by Quentin Dempsey.
I would say that that's a mistake right there by either Antoine Randall L. or Mike Sellers, because you've got 2 receivers right in the exact same spot on the field running basically the same route.
So the Redskins go 3 and out. Hunter Smith punting from midfield. Fair catch called for by Jackson back at the 11.
They have lots of shoes with rubber soles. They wake up early to chase birds. They don't take things seriously, except for the things they take seriously, like hanging out with friends and maybe a dog. That's the Ultra Life. Michelob Ultra, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and exceptionally smooth taste. It's the superior light beer, perfectly balanced for the Ultra Life.
Now on Blu-ray.
Vatican City will be consumed by light.
Includes original and extended cuts. 3D Live connects you to Movie IQ. Access real-time information on the cast, trivia, and more. Angels and Demons own the Blu.
Back in Philadelphia, 4-point lead for the Washington Redskins, but they could not convert with a short field.
I think that's going to be one of those opportunities when the game's over. You look back onto first and 10 at the 40-yard line. They gain 1 yard. So they get the penalty after the punt. They get some great field position, and they can't take advantage of it. It's a great stand by the Philadelphia Eagles defense, but a missed opportunity for this Redskin offense with great field position.
Missed opportunity by a Redskin team that has not won on the road this season. Inside handoff to McCoy. And he's tackled by London Fletcher. Out at the 18-yard line, gain of 7.
Seems like in this game, Daryl, the biggest problem that the Eagles have had is themselves. With the penalties on the onside kick on the first play of the game, they have wide receivers deep, wide open, but they keep just kicking themselves in the foot with all these penalties up front on the offensive line.
Second down and 3. McCoy tries to get it back inside, and he's bottled up back behind the line of scrimmage by Kedrick Golston.
It's gotten sloppy the last couple of drives for this Philadelphia Eagles offense, and it's one of the things we've seen throughout the season is the inconsistency. They can be extremely explosive at times and look unstoppable, and then all of a sudden they get into these lulls where nothing really happens. And as you pointed out, Tony, that last series, it was all kind of self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, and earlier it's cost them points.
Third down and 4. Eagles must get to the 21. McCoy, first down. Tackled by Brian Orakpo. But the Eagles able to move the chains.
And one of the things I don't think Donovan McNabb has ever gotten credit for during his career is the amount of change that's happened around him. With the wide receivers, the tight ends. Brian Westbrook has been kind of a stabilizing factor in the backfield, but right now he's got so many weapons. They're young, but it's got to be tough for these guys to cover all the different options that Donovan has at his disposal right now.
First and 10 from the 22-yard line. Chris Wilson makes the tackle. Leonard Weaver gaining 4 out to the 26.
It's just so hard to run the ball out of shotgun. There's only a few things you can do. And one of the challenges for Marty Morningweg and this Eagles offense is when they get into so many shotgun formations is how do we not become one-dimensional to our defense that we're playing against. And one of their biggest challenges is running the ball on the perimeter.
On the 26 on second down, McNabb over the middle, wide open, Jason Avant. And he has an Eagles first down. Out at the 44-yard line, a gain of 18.
Good movement in the pocket by Donovan McNabb. He gets a little bit of pressure, steps up. There's Jason Avant down at the bottom of your screen. Little out and up. They had both of them. They put LaRon Landry in a tough spot. Both receivers do the out and up. And you've got one secondary guy back there trying to decide which one he's going to cover.
First and 10 from the 44-yard line. Off the fake to McCoy. McNabb, loads of time. He throws. And the catch is made by Macklin at the Redskins 49, a gain of 7 as we check in once again with Kurt.
Buccaneers down 10-0 to the Falcons, but they complete a 2-play, 80-yard drive. Both passes from Josh Freeman to Antonio Bryant, who gets up after not being touched and scores from here. And it's a 10-7 Atlanta lead. But by the way, Kenny Moose and Goose, Falcon quarterback Matt Ryan out in the opening series with a toe injury, and he has not returned.
Wow. So Matt Ryan out. Back up in Atlanta is Chris Redmond, Goose's former teammate in Baltimore, as McCoy is bottled up. Atlanta will be the Eagles' opponent next Sunday.
And that is a big loss for the Falcons. We've had them several times this year, and we always walk away impressed with how mature Matt Ryan is. So that's a huge loss for the Falcons if he's out the rest of the game today.
Matt Ryan grew up here in the Philadelphia area. Terrific career at Boston College. 3rd down and 3. McNabb over the top off the hand of McCoy. London Fletcher on the coverage.
Washington Redskins bringing pressure, putting their secondary in one-on-one situations. You've got all that speed around. Your defensive line kind of saves the day, getting a little deflection right there. It's a lot of confidence in your secondary's ability to cover when you bring pressure and you let your secondary go man-to-man against all that speed and that Philadelphia skill set.
Antoine Randall back deep for the Redskins. Rocca punting from his own 40-yard line. Fair catch by Randall at the 13 with just under 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter, and the Redskins leading by 4.
Well, Andy Reid rolled the dice on the opening kickoff, did a surprise onside. It was there, but the Eagles couldn't execute it. That led to Jason Campbell's touchdown run right there. Redskins jump out 7-0. But the Eagles come back, get a touchdown of their own and a field goal to go up 10-7, and then the Redskins come back with a touchdown to Santana Moss to take that 14-10 lead where we sit right now.
And the Redskins, following the Eagles punt, start from their own 13-yard line. Mark Cartwright. Excuse me, it's Marcus Mason out to the 19-yard line. Mason gaining 6. Jason Campbell, 9 of 15, and a touchdown pass to Moss. Cartwright, 28 yards on the ground.
It's kind of what you expect right now from this Redskin offense. You're not going to see a lot of explosive plays because of the injuries in the offensive line. They're not able to hold the ball and let those long routes develop down the field.
Mason again. Marcus Mason, a first down and more. Penalty flag as Mason takes it out to the 34. He gains 15.
Holding, offense, number 45. Penalties half the distance to the goal. Replay, second down.
Mike Sellers.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, you see 2 tight ends on the line of scrimmage. This Eagles defense has to recognize run formations. When you get 2 tight ends and they're all on the line of scrimmage, you can see right here, it's going to be a high percentage of run. And the one thing I don't see is everybody coming to the line of scrimmage and support, especially on the corners.
Well, the flag erases the 15-yard gain by Mason. Mason remains in the backfield, second down and 14. Campbell, Mason out to the 22. Mason played in 3 games earlier this season. He was released, re-signed on Monday. Grew up in the Washington area. And he said this week, Daryl, I feel like I have 9 lives and I am on my 8th.
Well, he's taken advantage of it. He's played well.
Redskins got some tough running guys, and what they're doing is they're throwing the ball on the perimeter against that secondary that's not really playing that well, especially against the run of the Eagles.
3rd down and 2. Campbell fires, and it is Asante Samuel who comes up with the interception.
You have to know who you're playing against. You have to know that Asante Samuel loves to jump routes. If you're going to do anything against Asante Samuel, give him a double move early in the game. Get him thinking a little bit. You just made this one too easy on him. Little hook curl right there to Santana Moss. He sees it develop in front of him, and he just jumps it.
He never got touched by a defender either. His players were telling him to get up, run, run, run. He didn't realize that he got taken down by his own player.
6th interception of the season for Samuel. Only the 10th pick thrown by Campbell. So the Eagles trailing by 4. From the Redskins 21, McCoy up the middle. Down to the 13-yard line, a gain of 8 before he was brought down by London Fletcher.
We all know about Philadelphia's explosive capabilities on this offense with their passing game, but I've been impressed with their running game this afternoon. They've up front, they've had some great running lanes for LaShawn McCoy and Leonard Weaver to get through. They've got some nice chunks in the run game.
They hit that line of scrimmage and they just go and put it into another gear. I agree with you, Moose. They're running the ball extremely well, and that's helping the passing game also for Donovan McNabb.
Eagles averaging nearly 6 yards per carry. Second down and 2. They keep it on the ground with McCoy. Bounces it to the outside. And looks to have an Eagles first down.
You talked about it earlier on that shotgun, how hard it is to run the ball, but you have to do it. If you don't run the ball out of shotgun, it's going to make yourself one-dimensional, and this defense and defensive line, all they're going to do is pin their ears back and rush the passer, and you're going to get twice the pass rush you do if there's a run threat.
We have hit the 2-minute warning here in Philadelphia. Redskins leading by 4, but the Eagles are on the move.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon Football Zone with live games and highlights right on your phone. Only on VCast from America's most reliable.
The 3-7 Redskins lead the 6-4 Eagles. Remaining second quarter. First and goal for the Eagles from the Redskins 10. 3 wide receivers. Weaver is the lone back. McNabb on the slant. Fred Smoot on the coverage. Pass intended for Macklin.
That one almost bounced up and was intercepted. Donovan McNabb quick outside to Jeremy Macklin. Got to make that catch, Tony, again. It's a well-thrown ball in tight coverage. Jeremy's got to come up with that.
Fred Smoot did a nice job of going and punching that ball out, but it was live, as you said. It popped right up.
Now McCoy in the backfield, second and goal. Dab over the top of Font. And London Fletcher was right there. He's a tackling machine. Most tackles in the entire league this decade. That's his 9th tackle of the first half.
Sideline to sideline, in the pass game, in the run game. One of those true all-down middle linebackers. And the NFL has become a specialized league, and London Fletcher is one of those guys, one of those rare guys at the linebacker level who doesn't leave the field during the course of the game.
Third and goal from the 5.
Another penalty once again, kicking themselves in the foot, Daryl.
Offside. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Winston Justice signed a 4-year contract extension this week. It's his 2nd penalty today.
Yeah, he's having a tough day out here with the penalties. Just a little bit of a wiggle.
Now, I could hear the snap count, and I'm standing probably 20 yards away. I know he could hear it. No reason to jump. They weren't showing that they were going to come with the blitz. You didn't have any threat right on top of them. You need to hold your ground, look inside at the ball, and not jump off sides.
Pushes the Eagles back to the 10-yard line. Third and goal. McNabb a pump fake. Now he throws. And tackled at the 6-yard line is Macklin by Justin Tryon. So the Eagles will send out the field goal unit.
Well, you're trying to get the ball out in space. We've talked about the athleticism of these wide receivers, but that's just great pursuit. Look at all the Redskins coming. I mean, there's 6 of them there. Jeremy Macklin's not going to be able to break that many tackles.
I don't care what the score is. Greg Blanche, the defense coordinator for the Redskins, is going to have that defense playing. That's exactly what they're doing out there. They're running to the ball. They're going to try and make something happen.
Redskins use their first time out. Stop the clock with 52 seconds remaining. Coming up, the Visa halftime report with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. They'll be along with scores and highlights. And the Fox Sports ticker will have All the latest stats. That's coming up. The Visa halftime report. Redskins waited about 10 seconds before using that timeout. And David Akers, who hit from 29 earlier, will attempt a 24-yard field goal from the right hash. Akers' kick is good, pulling the Eagles to within one. David Akers, who played his first NFL game as a member of the Redskins back in 1998, missed both attempts and signed with the Eagles January of '99, one day after Andy Reid was hired as Philadelphia's head coach.
And he's been a fixture for this Eagles offense, special teams. Great at kickoffs, great field goal kicker.
Second game of our doubleheader coming up. Most of you will see the Bears and the Vikings, others the Cardinals and the Titans. And we've been referencing the onside kick at the start of this game, attempted by Akers. It's the fourth time Andy Reid has started the game with a surprise onside kick. The previous three came on the road, twice in Dallas in 2000 and again in 2003, once in Kansas City. And he has a 50% success rate. The Eagles have recovered two, but the two times they did not, the opponent would score on that first drive. In fact, back in 2000, the game we talked about earlier, the season opener in Dallas, or in 2003, Randall Williams
took it back for a touchdown.
Yeah. So 4 times in Andy Reid's 11 seasons, he has started the game with an onside kick.
But it goes back to the confidence that Andy Reid has in his defense. And for a long time, that was Jim Johnston and the unit that he would put on the field. Now it's Sean McDermott. You know, when you have a great defense and you have the confidence, you'll make those types of decisions.
On the goal line, Devin Thomas. Good return by Thomas out to the 35-yard line. With 42 seconds remaining, Redskins have 2 timeouts and a 1-point lead.
One of the things we've seen today is poor coverage on the kickoff coverage unit for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Redskins have gotten some good returns and created some good field position to start from. Now they just got to follow it up.
Redskins spread the field with 4 wide receivers. Movement prior to the snap. False start.
False start. Offense, number 76. 5-3, first down.
Left tackle, Levi Jones.
You're down there in your stance and you're adjusting everything. You're calling your protections. You're getting everything sorted out because you've got your blitzers right up there in the A gap in between the guard and center area. And you get a little flinch from time to time from those tackles out on the end.
Smart play by Darren Howard, too, coming over across the line of scrimmage.
On 1st and 15, Campbell dumps it off to Cartwright. And Cartwright is tackled by Tracy White. Good job by Cartwright getting out of bounds. Clock stops with 35 seconds remaining. Cartwright gained 10.
Hey, this Washington Redskin offense is getting some good chunks today, Daryl.
You know, that in this situation, Tony, they've got to be a little bit more aggressive. I know how they play infield during the course of the game, but in specialized situations like 2 minutes here, they've got to stretch the ball down the field.
Redskins need about 30 yards to get into field goal range for Sweetson. Nice tackle by Sheldon Brown on Devin Thomas, and now the Redskins are forced to use their second timeout.
Great recognition by Sheldon Brown. He recognizes that quick screen pass coming, beats the block from the inside and makes the tackle.
A look at the NFC playoff picture. We are in week 12. The Saints remain undefeated. Vikings 9-1. Cowboys with a win on Thursday. Arizona first place in the West.
And here's your wild card spot. The Green Bay Packers a win on Thanksgiving Day. The Eagles trying to keep pace, and hanging in the background, the Giants losing on Thanksgiving night, and the Falcons sitting at 5-5 playing Tampa Bay today with Matt Ryan out with a toe injury. Then you see the group with 6 losses, the 49ers, the Panthers, and the Bears.
Eagles still have Atlanta, the Giants, and Dallas on their remaining schedule. 3rd down and 8. Campbell gets rid of it, and it's Asante Samuel with his second pick of the half. Campbell is about to be hit, got rid of the football, and for Samuel, his second interception today, his 7th on the season.
Boy, Trent Cole beat Levi Jones immediately with a great inside-out move and got to Jason Campbell right away. Forces him up. Didn't impact the throw when he hit him. Just a heady play by Asante Samuel. He drops his coverage, sees Devin Thomas coming in, and again, when you're throwing towards Asante Samuel, you have to know that he studies everything on film. He knows what to expect coming out of formation and personnel, what type of routes you're going to run, and if he sees it, he's going to jump it. You have to know when you throw to his side of the field that even though he's not in coverage, that if he's in the area, he will jump that route.
Eagles have all 3 of their timeouts. McNabb dumps it off to McCoy. He hurdles London Fletcher and is down at the 22-yard line. Timeout Philadelphia with 12 seconds remaining.
There's that screen game again.
First charge timeout Philadelphia. 30-second timeout.
One of my favorite cliches I've heard in football in a while is how Andy Reid describes his screen game. And what they want to do is they want to get out here and they want to create a sidewalk. And then what they want to put into that sidewalk is what Andy Reid calls elephants on parade. His big offensive linemen out in front understand where we're building that sidewalk, and then you guys just run north and south down the sidewalk and allow the running back, the receiver, whoever is in the screen to move off of your blocks. Don't go side to side. But I really enjoyed the elephants on parade analogy.
That's a great job of using, using offensive linemen, using their bodies. I mean, they're big men. You got to get around them as a defender and as a tackler. The running back has those big guys out there. You can use them to dodge around them.
Donovan McNabb brought that phrase to our attention. Elephants on parade. 2nd down and 4. McNabb to the end zone. He's looking for the tight end Smith. Carlos Rogers on the coverage.
Little one-on-one situation. You get that size matchup with Alex Smith on the outside. Carlos Rogers in great position.
So with 7 seconds remaining, Andy Reid will send out the field goal unit. David Akers, 2 for 2 today.
You know, we're all familiar with the great Vince Lombardi diagram of creating the alley and then, getting the guy in the alley. We're going to get a block here, get a block there, create an alley, and get the running back through it. The sidewalk and the elephants on parade, not the same thing, but
3rd and final
still
charge timeout.
pretty enjoyable.
30-second.
Redskins use their final timeout. He's a halftime report coming up with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. Scores and highlights and the Fox Sports ticker. It has been an eventful 10 days for Donovan McNabb. His wife 2 Fridays ago gave birth to their 4th child. Then on Sunday, a win in his hometown of Chicago. And this past Wednesday, Donovan turned 33.
Still having fun. He's got all these young guys around him. I think it's had a big impact on him. I bet he doesn't feel 33 anymore.
41-yard attempt. Akers today is 3 for 3 as the Eagles capitalize on both Asante Samuel interceptions. Coming up with a pair of field goals, and Philadelphia now leads by 2.
Another one of those great pickups by Andy Reid early in his tenure here with the Philadelphia Eagles, grabbing David Akers off the Redskins right when he got here as head coach, and he's been a fixture here along with Donovan McNabb their entire time.
Akers, the Eagles' all-time leading scorer. As we mentioned, signed with Philadelphia January 12th, 1999, the day after the Eagles hired Andy Reid as head coach. Reid has led the Eagles to 5 NFC Championship games, 1 Super Bowl appearance, 2-time NFL Coach of the Year. Looking to get back to the postseason. Eagles with a record of 6-4. A 16-14 lead today. Baker started the game with an onside kick. Leaves this one on the ground. Wendy Holmes fell on it with 1 second on the clock.
And David Eggers is just trying to squib this one down the field. It hits Lindy Holmes, and they're going to get a Hail Mary shot out of this if they elect to do it.
Andy Reid is not happy. I'm over here on the sideline right next to Andy Reid. Are you kidding me? 1 second. You never know what could happen, right, Daryl?
You never know. You never know. My rookie year in Dallas, we were, they got an extra play at halftime, and we're watching it from the tunnel, and Dan Marino hit the Hail Mary pass for a touchdown.
Campbell wrapped up by Cole. Down he goes. Trent Cole now with 9.5 sacks this season, and that brings us to the end of the first half here in Philadelphia. Redskins led 14-10. 2 Samuel interceptions, 2 Akers field goals. The Visa halftime report is coming up next.
NFL on Fox doubleheader action continues later today. It's an NFC North showdown. Cutler and the Bears look to get back on track. But Favre, Peterson, and the explosive Vikings are out to take down their division rival. Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader action continues later today. Welcome to the Visa Halftime Report. More people go with Visa.
Howdy, gang. Welcome to the Visa Halftime. Kurt Menefee along with Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. And an interesting start and an interesting first half in Philly.
Washington at Philadelphia. Donovan, McNabb, quarterback Eagles. Coming through the tunnel, strolling, looking good. Redskins not fooled by this onside kick. Quentin Gather returns it. Well, he gathers it up. Get it? Gathers it up. 25 yards to set up a touchdown. 7-0 Washington Redskins. And then it's McNabb. Avoid the sack. Spin left. Deshaun Jackson. Man makes big plays. He's wide open. 35-yard touchdown reception. 10-7 Eagles on top of the Redskins. And then the pop pass. Quarterback. Slot receiver uncovered. 1 step. Popping. That's what Santana Moss did. Caught it. Touchdown. It's 16-14 Eagles over the Redskins. Carolina the Jet. Pop pass, Steve Smith. You're uncovered. DeLone wanted to pop you the ball. You didn't see it. That's not DeLone's fault, although he shouldn't have thrown it. Hits the back of the foot of Smith. Intercepted.
Just takes it all the way for the score.
All the way. 65 yards, 14-3 Jets on top of Carolina. Thanks, man. Thanks for bailing me out. Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Matt Ryan, quarterback, leaves injured foot. Questionable is his return, but his replacement, Chris Redmond, shuffle past Jarvis Norwood. Norwood, 22-yard strike, 10-0 Atlanta on top of Tampa Bay. Then the rookie quarterback out of Kansas State, Josh Freeman, finds Antonio Bryant. 42-yard touchdown. We're tied up at 10 apiece, Tampa and Atlanta. Seattle at the St. Louis Rams. There it is, Julius Jones, running back for the Seahawks. Out of this game, his replacement, Justin Forsett, 4-yard touchdown, 3-yard touchdown run. Seahawks up early on the Rams, 7-0. But in the second quarter, quarterback Kyle Bowler in bootleg. That's where you open up one side, reverse, and go the other. He finds Avery, 1-yard strike. We're tied up at 7 apiece. And then Bowler back. Ball is tipped in the air. Josh Wilson picks it off, takes it back. Look how far it goes, Mike.
65 yards.
There you go. 14-10 Seahawks on top of the Rams. I like to get all my people involved in the highlights. Indianapolis at Houston. Matt Schaub, quarterback for the Texans, having a great year. Hands off here to play action. Vontae Leach, open touchdown, 7-yarder. That's 7-0 Houston on top of the coach. Second quarter now. Peyton Manning, blitz, quick post, 1-yard strike. A nice one-handed catch by Pierre Garcon, 20-7. Upset in the making. Houston on top of Indy.
No upset going on here, Cincinnati. 14-0 over Cleveland.
Yeah, I studied that in acting school. Miami at Buffalo, Chad Henne. Avoid the sack, back foot, beautiful throw, nice job. Brian Hartline's on the end of that 4-yard strike, 7-0 Miami. And then the quarterback out of Harvard. I went to the Harvard of the South. Everybody knows Louisiana Tech. You don't get in there unless you've got a 3.9. I did. Fitzpatrick, 31-yard. I got in there.
What's the scale? 10?
Hey, 7-all Miami.
I'm just kidding.
And Buffalo. Hey, I got an engineering degree. How much you pay for it?
All right, anyway, let's get back to Washington and Philadelphia and talk about decisions, Jimmy. What about that onside kick to start the game?
Kurt, we talked about it in the pregame show, know your opponent when you're setting up your game plan. With Washington, why be wide open? Why give them life? Be somewhat conservative. When you look at what Washington had done going into this game, 39 opportunities with 80 yards or more to go. What you'd get on the kickoff, only 2 touchdowns. Why onside kick and give them life to stay in this ballgame? I didn't understand it.
On the flip side, Asante Samuel, great first half. Daryl Johnston mentioned he's playing with a stinger, and that certainly impacts the way you come up on run support. But, boy, can he jump a route. Rarely do you see a guy leave New England and prosper. They rarely let go of a guy. But Asante Samuel, we talk about all the pickups they've made on offense. Great pickup on defense.
Well, I think sometimes the New England lets you go and doesn't think you can do without them, and he's proven them wrong. And the thing that he does, which I love, he finishes. Most guys are just happy to get close, knock it down. He wants the interception. That's why he has 7 on the year.
And by the way, Arizona and Tennessee, a lot of people will get that game late. Kurt Warner definitely out, told our guys he woke up with blurred vision today. So Matt Leinart starting for the Arizona Cardinals later today at Tennessee.
Big Tennessee on my picks.
Second half of your game comes up right after this on the Visa halftime.
I can't see it.
Use your Visa card between now and November 30th, and you'll be automatically entered into the Mega Fan Giveaway, where you'll have a chance to win a trip for you and 3 friends to a 2009 NFL playoff game, the 2010 NFL Pro Bowl, Super Bowl 44, and more. Whether you're stocking up, entertaining, or just being a fan, more people go with Visa.
Join the movement at NFLRush.com.
Eagles lead the Redskins at the half here in Philadelphia by the score of 16-14. Coming up next at our Fox NFL doubleheader, many of you will see the Chicago Bears as they take on Brett Favre and the 9-1 Minnesota Vikings. Others will see the NFC West leading Arizona Cardinals as they take on the Tennessee Titans. Game 2 of the Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader coming up next when we return the second half. Eagles and Redskins.
The Bears battle the Vikings. Fox NFL Sunday delivers later today. The debit is easier than cash. More people go with Visa.
14, Daryl, the first half numbers.
Well, I think that one of the things that we'll talk about through the first half is the decision about the onside kick to start the game. You heard Jimmy Johnston talk at halftime about knowing your opponent. And why would you do that? Why would you give them the short field? I think because Philadelphia has tremendous confidence. You saw the yards they put up in the first half. They have the ability to overcome the points, and I think it also has a lot to do with the confidence in their defense. But that didn't really pan out in the first half. It's a 2-point game going to the second half. The Redskins have been very good in the second half this season.
And because the Eagles deferred, they get the ball to begin this second half, and they will start at their own 20-yard line. So the Eagles, with 2 late field goals following interceptions, have a 2-point lead. But as you mentioned, Redskins have been terrific. They've allowed the fewest second half points in the entire league.
And they did a great job in that first half when they did have turnovers and Philadelphia was on a short field of holding them to field goals instead of giving up touchdowns. And now you kind of manage that situation a little bit better. And we talked about it at the top. This Washington Redskin team is 3-7, but if you watch them on film over the last 2.5 games, they do not look like a 3-7 team. The Philadelphia Eagles have gotten themselves into a tough situation right now because they will have confidence as they move forward in the second half that they can win this game.
Eagles start from their own 20, and for the 3rd time today, one of the Redskins defensive linemen gets his hand on a McNabb pass attempt.
Well, guys, I had an opportunity to talk to Andy Reid going in after the field goal. The one thing he said, I have to address the penalties that our offense is getting. We're killing ourselves, just like we talked about, Daryl, and it's costing us points. The 1 touchdown, They took it back, wind up getting a field goal. So it's not just hurting us with field position, it's hurting us with the score. So that's something that he addressed at halftime.
Backs Goose on 2nd and 10, an empty backfield. McNabb to Selleck. And Selleck takes it across the 25. Brian Arapaho made the tackle, gain of 6. So the Eagles now facing a 3rd down and 4.
Again, here comes that screen game by the Philadelphia Eagles. A little flash to the left side, pump fake, and then right out to the right to your tight end this time. Wide receiver screens, running back screens, tight end screens. They get everybody involved in it.
Elephants on parade.
Elephants on parade.
3rd down and 4. Eagles must get to the 30. Down, can't find anyone. Then the shovel pass to Selleck. And Selleck is brought down shy of a 1st down.
Jim Zorn getting down there to check the spot, make sure they got it right.
Jim Zorn's been put in a tough situation as we take another look at the last play, but really have to admire the class and dignity with which he has handled himself this season.
He's really an amazing guy. He's been put in a very, very difficult position. There's a lot of pressure on him, and very enjoyable conversation with him yesterday.
Rocca angling it away from Randall L. Taking it at the 19-yard line. Putting Debs downfield quickly to make the tackle. So the Redskins trailing by 2. Come out on offense here in Philly.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. By Taco Bell, think outside the run. By State Farm, to us nothing's more important than being there. And by FedEx, we understand your business could use a Dick Butkus pep talk.
Redskins back on offense, trailing by 2. Washington scored touchdowns on 2 of their first 3 drives today. Since then, Daryl, 4 drives, 1 yard. And the 2 interceptions by Samuel as Cartwright is tackled back behind the line.
We touched on Jim Zorn and the pressure that he's underneath here as the Washington Redskin head coach. He works for an organization that has had little patience. There's been a number of changes within this organization, and we talk about the kind of the consistency with the Philadelphia Eagles and Andy Reid being there for over a decade now, and the Redskins have had numerous coaches during that time. And Jim Zorn came in, he interviewed for the offensive coordinator job, got the head coach job. He was the quarterback coach, the offensive coordinator, the head coach, a lot of hats to wear.
Campbell pump fake, now he fires downfield. Lost the intended receiver, Michael, on the coverage.
But I think the big thing is the decision that will be made after this season. If Jim Zorn is on the hot seat, if this is his last opportunity to be head coach for the Washington Redskins, do they take into consideration everything that has happened to this team during the course of the season? The injuries to Chris Samuels and Randy Thomas, and you see the number of coaches that have been here. Now, this is all through the tenure of Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm a big believer in continuity and chemistry, and I just don't think this organization has been able to establish that.
Only North Turner above 500 during that time span. Campbell complete to Fred Davis, and the Redskins convert. Terrific second effort by Davis. Another 3rd down conversion by the Washington Redskins. Davis picking up 29 yards.
One of the reasons I think you really got to look at what's happened this season when you're going to make this decision about Jim Zorn is how these guys are playing at this stage of a 3-7 season. I mean, look at the effort by Fred Davis.
Well, I think you hit the nail right on the head earlier, Daryl, with he came in wearing so many hats, and it went from one extreme to now they've taken almost everything away from him except for the play calling and some of the decisions on the field. He's not calling runs, he's not calling passes, so he went from one extreme to the complete other. I mean, where do you fall in there as a head coach? And what do the players feel like?
From the 49-yard line on 1st down, Cartwright is brought down by Mike Patterson. That 29-yard reception on the previous play, a career long for Davis. Fred Davis, who was drafted the pick ahead of Deshaun Jackson back in 2008. Davis 48th overall, Jackson 49th. Three wide receiver set, 2nd and 10. Again, it's Cartwright into Eagles territory, down to the 48. In of 3, Patterson the tackle. So another 3rd and long situation. Redskins have converted on a number of them today.
They have done a very good job, and when they come in, they try and limit those as much as they possibly can, and really, you know, you get into the 3rd and 7+ is kind of that area that you start to get concerned, because if you're going to bring pressure, you throw the hot route, you can rally up and make that tackle before they get the 1st down. So here's another opportunity for this Eagle defense to take advantage of the down and distance.
Empty backfield, 3rd down and 7. Campbell in trouble. He escapes. He throws, and the catch is made by Thomas. Devin Thomas picks up a Redskins 1st down after Campbell escaped from the pressure. A 35-yard pass play.
What a great job of getting away from the pressure. I don't know how he got out of that logjam in there with all those Eagle defenders. And here's one of the things that he's done a real nice job of over the last couple of weeks, is when he's scrambling, knowing when to pull the ball down and run, and when to have his eyes down the field and try and make a play. I think he might have been able to get the 1st down, but he elected to get down the field with his vision and find a receiver open for a big gain.
That's what he needs to do more of. He needs to use his legs to come out of the pocket to gain time, so he doesn't have that pressure right on him, so he's able to throw downfield and find those receivers.
Here's Cartwright down to the 11. Rock gaining 3 following the career-long reception by Devin Thomas. Campbell's numbers. The only blemish is the 2 interceptions by Samuel. The Eagles converted both into field goals. Levi Jones lost a shoe.
All right, you got Levi Jones out, so Trent Cole has been a beast on that side. If you're a running back right now, be smart. You've got your starting left tackle out of the lineup. You got D'Anthony Batiste, who's just jumped into the lineup. Help him out, and they go empty. So that's all a moot point.
Nothing like putting him on an island right here, right?
2nd and 8, high snap. Quarterback draw. Campbell inside the 10. Mike Patterson the tackle.
Take a look at Trent Cole. Trent Cole does a nice job of coming and identifying what the play is. He lines up outside. He's looking in the backfield. He notices it's a run. He gives a little bump to the inside, comes in, and makes the play for a minimal gain against D'Anthony Batiste.
So 1 play for Batiste. Jones back in. 3rd down and 7. Campbell from the shotgun. Moving to his right. Campbell throws, and the catch is made by Davis. Campbell very close to the line of scrimmage. When he let go of the football, Fred Davis makes the catch for a Redskins touchdown.
Well, 2 great decisions and great throws on the move by Jason Campbell on this drive. There's your tight end working across the field. Good job of recognizing that the quarterback's on the move. Joe Mays drops him, goes for the quarterback. Asante Samuel doesn't adjust to move inside fast enough. That leaves Fred Davis wide open for the touchdown.
The 2nd touchdown of the season. Both have come against Philadelphia. So the Redskins back on top. Redskins convert on 3 3rd downs on the drive.
Once, during a difficult time in my life.
Redskins 3 touchdowns in 8 possessions today, and they have scored at least 20 points, Daryl, for only the 2nd time this season. They scored 27 against Denver 2 weeks ago.
And their long scoring drives doing a nice job on 3rd down, and it's been kind of feast or famine for the Redskins on 3rd down. They've had some good conversions on long scoring drives, but they've also had 2 interceptions on 3rd down. They're 5 of 8 on 3rd and 7 or more, and that's kind of that area that Philadelphia was trying to force the Redskin offense into.
Nacho Harris on the return, takes it out across the 20. Mike Sellers, the tackle.
All right, international.
Back in Philadelphia, Redskins back on top. They lead the Eagles by 5. Eagles start from their own 21-yard line with McCoy in the backfield and McNabb out of the shotgun. Inside handoff to McCoy. And Arakpo is right there to make the tackle. Gain of just one. Brian Arakpo, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year last season. Redskins first-round draft pick out of Texas.
He really gets it for a young guy. It was really a nice time chatting with him yesterday. And yeah, I thought Andre Carter paid him a huge compliment. You've got a veteran there that's having a great season, talking about a young guy. You know, hey, the great thing about Brian is he's always going 100 miles an hour. He's always playing hard.
And he doesn't look like a rookie either. He came in, I mean, me and you were talking about it, Daryl. He has a deep voice. He came in, I mean, he had a full beard going. He's a definitely, he looks the role.
There's that tackling machine again, London Fletcher, sideline to sideline. That is textbook right there.
His 10th tackle today. He's led his team in tackles, whatever team he's been on each of the last 10 seasons. Rams, Bills, and Redskins. 3rd down and 7. McNabb's pass is caught by Jackson, but Fletcher again along with Tryon keep Deshaun Jackson from picking up a first down, and the Eagles go 3 and out, and Jackson shaken up.
London Fletcher again just doing a great job. Watch him recognize this and get up here and make the hit that prevents the first down.
Jeep. As a souvenir. Jets Bills Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. You want the NFL? Go to the NFL.
Deshaun Jackson shaken up on his last reception before we went to break.
Head trainer Rick Burkholder right there with the glasses up on the forehead. One of the best in the NFL, so he's in good hands right now.
Eagles have gone 3 and out on both of their second half possessions. Rocca punting from his own 20-yard line. Fair catch called for at the 23-yard line by Moss. Redskins go back on offense with a 5-point lead. Eagles training staff continues to chat with Deshaun Jackson.
We're still trying to figure out exactly what it is they're looking at. Could be a number of things right here. Number one, the big hit from London Fletcher. Did he get a burner? He goes down awkwardly on the left hand. Tony saw him kind of trying to squeeze that pain out of his left hand. He's been rubbing under his chin there. We don't know if it's they're kind of talking to him to see if he got his bell rung.
Redskins start from their own 23. Ron Cartwright out to the 25, gain of 2. Jaquay Parker made the tackle. Again, Ron Cartwright making his 4th career start today with Portis and Betts both out. Now Jackson heading back towards the tunnel. And the Eagles locker room. Three wide receivers for the Redskins. 2nd down and 9. And it's Cartwright. Cartwright out to the 29-yard line. Trent Cole made the tackle, gain of 5. So the Redskins, who have done a terrific job on 3rd down today. They are 7 of 11 overall. Facing a 3rd down and 4.
And really right now playing with all the emotion in this game. And Philly is very, very flat right now. And they need somebody to step up and make a play. Defensively, next time the offense is on the field, even the crowd, this is really the first time that the crowd started to get into it a little bit. It's been a very strange feeling in the stadium the last few series.
3rd down and 4. Campbell throws, complete for a first down to Moss. Out at the 37-yard line, so the Redskins now 8 for 12 on 3rd down today.
I think you're absolutely right now. Right now, it seems like this Eagles defense, if you watch the secondary, they're waiting for something to happen. Right there. You know, Sheldon Brown, you got to go and attack that ball. These guys got to make something happen. That's not what they're doing right now. So Washington definitely has momentum on their side.
Ganther in the backfield, 2 tight ends. From the 37-yard line, it's Ganther running right, tries to turn the corner, and Quinton Ganther has a first down. Out to midfield, he gains 13.
It's good patience by Quinton Ganther. They run the zone blocking scheme. Watch all these linemen just turn and run. They're going to get on a path. And Quinton Ganther runs and runs until he finds that hole and then cuts back inside. That's great patience in that zone blocking scheme. You press the sideline, press the sideline. As soon as you see that running lane open, get north and south.
69 yards on the ground for the Redskins today, along with Cartwright, Ganther, and Mason. Here's Ganther up the middle, nothing this time. Robert Buckley, first Eagle, in on the tackle. Quinton Ganther, a 7th-round pick by Tennessee back in 2006 out of University of Utah, playing in his 3rd game with the Redskins this season.
Right at 7 yards a carry.
That offensive line, I'll tell you, is doing a great job with the zone blocking, staying on their blocks, riding the guys down, and wheeling on them to make them holes that these running backs can go and take advantage of.
And Deuce, it's the 6th different combination as far as the starters on the offensive line for the Redskins this season.
Maybe they finally got the right combination this time.
Yeah, 6 in 11 games for Washington. And the play is blown dead on 2nd and 10.
False start. Offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's on Moss. Daryl, you talked about the injuries, the 6-time Pro Bowler Chris Samuels, Randy Thomas. They lost Chad Reinhardt last week.
I think Goose maybe stumbled onto something right there. You know, maybe finally they've solidified and they've built that continuity. You know, Philadelphia's been searching for it. They've found it. Maybe with all these injuries, they finally got that group of 5 out there that's playing well together now.
2nd down and 15. Pass too far intended for Moss. Sean Jones on the coverage. Campbell and Buckley get to know each other.
A little window here on the outside between the corner and the safety, trying to fit that ball, and you see right there Sheldon Brown motioning for Sean Jones to get over there and help him out.
Another 3rd and long as Buckley limps off. You mentioned, Daryl, Redskins are 5 for 8 today on 3rd and 7 or longer.
That's impressive because that's not what this offense is all about. They're about staying ahead of the chains.
Redskins must get to the Eagles 40. They set up the screen for Ganther, but it did not fool Tracy White. A loss of 4 on the tackle by White out of Howard University in our nation's capital. Redskins will punt.
You've got to be a salesman on the screen, and Quinton Ganther just rushes it a little bit, and Tracy White just mimics his move. I mean, he mirrored him from the middle linebacker position.
You give those linebackers the slightest idea it's going to be a screen, and they're going to be all over it.
No Deshaun Jackson. Jeremy Macklin back deep. Punt rolls into the end zone for a touchback. Eagles will start at their own 20, trailing by 5. Redskins lead the Eagles 21-16. Weekdays make lunchtime your new prime time as FoxSports.com brings you lunch with benefits. Log on to check out new episodes of original sports shows delivered to your desktop on FoxSports.com.
A couple of interested fans right there, the Landis family.
Emma and Owen checking out the menu. Lunch with benefits on FoxSports.com.
Owen's looking for the mac and cheese on the menu. Wants to know why it's not there.
Off the play fake on 1st down. McNabb to Weaver. And Weaver gains 4 out to the 24-yard line.
Well, this Philadelphia Eagle offense has got to get in sync right now. And this has been an ugly 3rd quarter for Philly all around. See right there, they got off to a great start, but they've just completely bogged down. A couple of blown assignments by the Redskins early in this game, letting Deshaun Jackson get deep on them, but they've got those corrected and have been playing pretty well since that time.
On 2nd and 6. Pass intended for Selleck. Reed Dowdy on the coverage. And you mentioned Deshaun Jackson. Eagles, of course, without Jackson, who went to the locker room.
And then here, just little things. You got to make these tough catches. Reed Dowdy's in tight coverage. You got to be able to have that vision with your quarterback. Slide to the outside. Feel that defender coming from the inside, knowing that Donovan's got to put it outside.
3rd down and 6. Eagles must get to the 30-yard line. McNabb with time. He throws. And again, it's Selleck unable to make the catch.
That's just no sense of urgency right there. That's twice right in his hands. He's got to make that play. Donovan's got him. See him right in his sights. Boom. Beautiful ball right to him. All right, listen, if you could touch that ball, you could catch it. It's right there. And Donovan does not look very happy about those last 2 passes.
So 3 possessions in this quarter. 3 and outs. Randall back deep. Fair catch at the 36-yard line. So good field position for the Redskins. 40-yard punt by Rocca. Fox tonight, animation domination takes over with all new episodes. Catch The Simpsons, followed by The Cleveland Show, Family Guy, and American Dad. The best night on television is all new, starting at 8/7 Central tonight on Fox. Redskins just 3 and 7. And you mentioned during our open, Daryl, Jim Zorn used the term weak to describe what has been going on, but they've played well the last 2.5 games and have a 5-point lead over the Eagles today. Redskins have not given up. From the 36 on 1st down, Campbell's pass intended for Antoine Randall.
He had the time there too, Daryl. He stayed in the pocket, had the receiver open. Just not a good throw on this one.
Well, he does a great job of standing in the pocket because, again, it's Trent Cole. He beats Levi Jones to the inside with a spin move there. He's making the throws, but he is getting hit, and it's gotta bother him a little bit. And that's a difficult throw if you're clean in the pocket, and it seems like almost every time he's getting a little bit of a knockdown every time he lets the ball go.
He's got to use his feet a little more. He's got to move around the pocket and adjust to what's coming at him.
2nd down, Ganther spins out to the 40-yard line. Campbell's been sacked only once today, but he has taken a number of hits. He was sacked 6 times in the first game against the Eagles this season.
I really think that Tony's, correct about this line. There's been so much changing. I mean, you're on your 5th starting right guard today. I mean, that's the type of season it's been for that starting 5 up front. And you just don't have an opportunity to develop the chemistry and the continuity that you have to have in production, along with your tight ends and your backs. And maybe now these guys are finally having the opportunity to gel a little bit at this point in the season.
Penalty markers on 3rd down and 6.
False start. Offense. Number 50. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's Edwin Williams again. It's the 4th false start against the Redskins today.
This is understandable, though. He's a rookie, young guy. He's a guard. He had 2 guys come up, linebackers come and threaten the A-gap. You get a little excited. I'll let him slide on that one. I mean, it's not a dumb offsides where, you can hear the snap count and you just, get intimidated. Right then and there, he was probably overthinking it, so we'll let him slide on that particular play.
They're down at 11 following the penalty. Redskins must get to the 46. Campbell moves to his right, takes off, has a 1st down. There's another flag. Campbell gains 16, but looks like this will be a hold.
Offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
That's the right tackle. Edwin Williams, teammate at the University of Maryland, Stephon Heyer.
Great job by Jason Campbell recognizing what the coverage is on this play. There's that wristband that we talked about at the top. Everything's there. So maybe he had a little bit of freedom at the line of scrimmage right there to get into his own play at that time. And right now, just a good job noticing that all the Eagle defenders are in man-to-man coverage. They've got their back turned to him, but you saw the flag in the background there as he slid. All for naught.
16-yard pickup erased. Now third down and 21, time winding down, and the third quarter comes to an end. So the Redskins will take a 5-point lead into the fourth quarter. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages from your local Fox station. We head to the fourth quarter. Redskins leading by 5. Fred Davis, go-ahead touchdown. Eagles went 3 and out on all 3 of their possessions in the third quarter. And now the Redskins facing a third down and 21. They must get to the 46. Short pass is caught by Moss. Tackled out at the 35-yard line, so now the Redskins will punt it away.
Yeah, and that's part of the mentality of this offense right now because of all the injuries. You know, punting the ball is not a bad thing. You know, the bad thing for Washington is turning the ball over. Let Philadelphia figure out what went wrong with them offensively in the third quarter on a long field.
Hunter Smith punting from his own 25 to Jeremy Macklin. In for the injured Deshaun Jackson.
Great job.
Terrific coverage downfield. That is the brother of Brian Westbrook. It's Byron Westbrook of the Redskins who makes the tackle on special teams.
GMC Sierra, the official vehicle of the NFL, and by Bud Light, with the just right taste that's not too heavy, not too light. The difference is drinkability.
There is Brian Westbrook of the Eagles. His brother Byron made the tackle on special teams a moment ago. Eagles back at offense, 3 and outs so far this half. Leonard Weaver out to the 13-yard line. And Goose, during our open, talked about this Redskins defense ranked 4th. I think you have to give the Redskins D a lot of credit for the lack of success the Eagles have had today on offense.
Yeah, it's a shared job out there. They've played well, but Philadelphia is also not executed very well. They've had opportunities to make plays and build some confidence, and they haven't been able to do that. And you saw the first 2 drives. They started out very, very quickly, and have just it's been a lull since that point. That third quarter was awful offensively.
Second down and 7. Now over the middle again. Selleck. That's the 3rd consecutive pass intended for Selleck that he got his hands on, but unable to make the catch.
He was looking for a flag when he rolled over. Let's see where Kareem Moore was on the coverage. No, that's just a good job by Kareem. Good coverage.
We're seeing a lot of catchable balls that aren't being caught today.
The Eagles just 2 for 10 on third down. They have only 9 first downs all game. McNabb on 3rd and 7. Gets rid of it as he was hit, and it is intercepted by Justin Tryon.
That's the big thing that has happened in this game, Tony, and it's one of the things that you always talk about is Washington has been able to get pressure with 4 consistently and drop 7 into coverage.
I mean, you're exactly right. They're bringing 4. You can see the pressure right here. I mean, if you can get pressure with 4, you're solidified in the backside with your coverage, and they're relentless. That defensive line right there is just playing relentless. Chris Wilson on the chop gets the ball out. When they start floating, the DBs are all trying to find where that ball is, and see Selleck wondering what happened out there. But these turnovers, Justin Tryon does a nice job of going up and getting that ball.
First career interception for Tryon, only the 7th pick by the Redskins all season. They start from the Eagles 23 off the play fake. Campbell to Sellers, and Mike Sellers picks up a first down to the Eagles 11, a gain of 12 yards.
Now, I know you couldn't have gotten your play calling into that Washington system of play calling, Coach, because there's too many people you would have had to talk to get that thing called. But there's the play that you've been waiting on all afternoon. Little bootleg out the backside, let Jason Campbell use his feet, move the pocket.
From the Eagles 11, two tight ends.
Yep, with the run game.
Marcus Mason takes it inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line. Former Redskin Jeremiah Trotter made the tackle.
Former Redskin, current Eagle. He's always an Eagle. I think when I see Jeremiah Trotter, I don't think former Redskin, Kenny. I think Eagle.
You think former Tampa Bay Buck?
No, he's an Eagle. I mean, it happens here. One of the great things that this organization does is, Hugh Douglas left and came back. Jeremiah Trotter left and came back.
They don't sever ties hard. They leave that door open and bring back some good players, too.
Second down and 7. Mason. Mason ruled down.
I don't know if I like this play calling, though, Daryl.
Well, right now,
like
Tony,
they're settling just for 3 points here.
Oh, I guarantee you that's exactly what they're thinking right now. We've got 3. We've got a shot at 3. Don't mess that one up. If we can get 6, great. But a 3-point, you get the field goal, you're 24-16. You're a touchdown and a 2-point conversion for a tie. So absolutely, the mentality right now is don't mess up the opportunity to kick the field goal.
Yeah, but you got 12 minutes left in the quarter. I mean, there's a lot of time left. I mean, I think right now they need to go and try and punch it in.
Well, we saw the same decision in Dallas last week, the end of the first half, an opportunity to push the ball into the end zone for points, and they chose not to and kick the field goal there, too.
Redskins call a timeout.
There's Sherman Lewis, the offensive consultant. That's Chris Might next to him. Jason Campbell's quarterback coach. We're trying to figure out who's making this decision right now. Is it up there in the booth or is it down on the field with Zorn?
Coach Zorn said it was him on 3rd and short. Or any 3rd down call.
3rd down and 6. Here's Campbell looking end zone, and he throws it out of the end zone, intended for Fred Davis.
We talked about Jason Campbell using his legs a little more. I think he had an opportunity to move out of the pocket on that play, Daryl.
Extended a little bit more.
Yeah, you know what? To his left, he had an open field. He could have ran it a little bit and tried to draw one of those defensive backs out. He could have gone and extended this play a lot more. Take a look at it. He goes, he comes, he sits in the pocket. All right, he's a sitting duck right there. Go and scramble out a little bit more. Give these guys an opportunity to play a little, a little one-on-one sandlot. Exactly.
Sean Sweeson from 25 yards out, extending the Redskins lead to 8.
Tomorrow at 8/7 Central on Fox.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Cadillac. From our family to yours, season's best from Cadillac.
There's Justin Tryon, his first career interception. Led to a Sean Sweeson field goal. Redskins over the Eagles by 8.
And don't forget the Chris Wilson, the hit on the quarterback. I've been very impressed with Washington's front all afternoon, being able to generate that pressure consistently with the 4 guys. They've mixed it up. They've brought the blitz every once in a while, but when they go 4 down, they've been around Donovan McNabb all afternoon.
Sweeson's kickoff taken at the 7 by Macho Harris.
Oh, nice cut.
Penalty flag as Harris is dragged out of bounds by Quinton Ganther after a 29-yard return.
Well, there's some of those penalties that Andy Reid talked to you about at halftime, Goose. This one's going to take some good field position away from the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, this wasn't smart. The guy goes by and let him go.
Holding for 23 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down, Philadelphia.
Dimitri Patterson.
Great job by Macho Harris of recognizing the contain getting too far inside. There's Dimitri Patterson. He's going to be the one on the hold. Good call by the officials. He's all wrapped up.
Am I allowed to mention that Dimitri Patterson is also a former Redskin?
Yeah, I mean, but Jeremiah Trotter, he's an Eagle.
So now the Eagles, for the second consecutive possession, will start from their own 10.
It's like saying Ronnie Lott was a former Raider. You know, it doesn't work.
I think of Ronnie as an ex-New York Jet myself. Off the play fake. On first down, McNabb over the middle looking for Avant. And he could not come down with it.
Well, that one's understandable, because that was thrown into some coverage right there.
That was a nice effort by Avant, though. He went up trying to bring it down and just wasn't able to see him right over the middle.
Justin Tryon again. That's great coverage in a good position to be able to make a play on the ball. You're right, Goose. That was a heck of an effort by Jason Avant.
Donovan McNabb 0 for his last 5 pass attempts. Second down and 10. This time Avant makes the catch and takes it into Redskins territory.
Wide open, too. Wide open, Daryl.
46-yard pass play.
Well, that's the one thing about this Eagles offense. You can never go to sleep on them because they have such big play potential. You got 2 go routes going down the field in tandem. Jason Avant, Brent Selleck. You put LaRon Landry in a tough spot. Which one are you going to take? He errs a little bit. Donovan fits it in. But LaRon's got to just come up and make that tackle. Don't go up for just the big hit. Wrap up and get him down. Don't give him the extra yards after contact.
The first down for the Eagles in the second half. McNabb to Avant again. At the Redskins 23, an Eagles first down. We check in with Kurt.
The Colts were down 17-0 in Houston, but they came back, went up 21-20 on a Dallas Clark touchdown, and 15 seconds after that, Clint Session picked off Matt Schaub. Indy leads it 28-20. Could it be another fourth quarter comeback, Kenny?
Well, the Colts won their last 4 following deficits in the fourth quarter as Avant was shaken up on his 22-yard reception.
Now you wonder if that's that left shoulder as he comes to the ground. Watch his left shoulder. He gets the ball secured in his right arm, and you get that elbow, and everything just kind of jams up into your shoulder.
I'll tell you what, on that play also, Donovan McNabb did a great job of gaining an extra half a second to get that ball downfield with all kinds of pressure in his face. Let's take a look at that. There he is. Watch Donovan. He's in the pocket. He's looking downfield. Here comes the pressure. It's in his face. You just take a little step backwards to gain an extra half a second. That's the difference in the National Football League. That a half a second or an eighth of a second, whatever it might be, that's the difference in making a play downfield and taking a sack.
Jason Avant wanted to stay in the huddle. Andy Reid said nope. Head to the sideline. Eagles, of course, already without Deshaun Jackson, one of their starting wide receivers, due to a head and neck injury. His return is questionable, and now Jason Avant will be checked out by the medical staff.
No doubt, you talk about it all the time about the passion for the game and guys who play and want to stay in there and do good. That's one of the guys right there, Jason Avant. He plays with a lot of passion and just a tough guy.
He's giving them a spark here in the fourth quarter, that's for sure.
Something they definitely needed.
On the 24, play action. McNabb under pressure, penalty marker. As McNabb was chased by Griffin, and now another flag is thrown.
No, the first one's going to be Jason Peters on a hold. Don't know what the late one was.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Holding offense number 71.
That's Peters.
Illegal hands to the face, defense number 27. Those penalties offset. Replay first down.
Jason Peters and Fred Smoot.
That's big because the holding was called before the hands to the face. So instead of 1st and 20, they're going to get 1st and 10 over again. We'll see if there was just a late flag coming out. Yeah, because they're about the same time. It's just a difficult time getting that flag out of the pocket.
This officiating crew is doing a good job of calling everything out there.
Michael Vick under center for the Eagles. 1st and 10 from the Redskins 24. Vick rolling to his left. He throws, intended for Selleck. Vick now 3 for 9 this season.
I don't like that call right there because Philadelphia's offense has been out of rhythm all half, and they finally establish a little bit of rhythm, and you make the substitution for Donovan McNabb. That needed to be done in the third quarter when you're doing your 3 and out. You know, you're struggling in that point. Maybe you put Michael Vick in at that time to try and jumpstart something, but this drive, they've finally gotten some continuity going, and I would not have disrupted it.
2nd and 10. Now with time, Deshaun McCoy tackled at the 14-yard line by Fletcher after gaining 8 yards.
How many times have we seen London Fletcher making a stop right near the first down marker today? He's like a wall built right where the markers are.
He's got great awareness of where the offense has to go for him to get off the field.
12 tackles for Fletcher today, 3rd down and 2. McCoy. Sean McCoy picks up the first down to the Redskins 13.
Tell you what, I'm very impressed by this McCoy kid. You know, losing Brian Westbrook was a huge damage and a lot of slack to pick up, but LaShawn McCoy definitely has stepped in and been a big asset to this offense.
And the guy they've got in there right now, too, he was a great pickup in the offseason, Leonard Weaver. He adds a dimension they haven't had in a while here.
From the 13-yard line on first down, this is Weaver running hard. And he's tackled at the 1 by LaRon Landry. Gain of 12 for Weaver.
Weaver does a great job. If you watch this as a defensive player, you see motion going across, and it almost looks like a pull. Going across the series, and Weaver just he goes right where he left off and just goes right upfield where there's a little emptiness in that defense.
Eagles now send in Eldra Buckley in the backfield, an extra blocker as well, and King Dunlap. First and goal. They give to Buckley. And Fred Smoot is down.
Fred Smoot's down. We got 2 flags in the end zone.
Only the 6th carry of the season for Buckley. There's one of the flags.
12 on the Skins.
12 men, defense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Replay first down.
See if Fred Smoot was the player that hit this on the move. No, there's Fred down the bottom of your screen. He steps up inside. Takes a big hit from the whole pile. Watch 27 go in, and everything comes at him.
It's a different world down there on that line of scrimmage, Daryl.
Yeah, the corners aren't used to being on the inside where all the big bodies are. We used to call that the deep end of the swimming pool.
Yeah, you got to come in and clean up. Don't go in there until them big boys have done their work.
Yeah, you tell the DBs to stay on the outside in the shallow end. They don't want to come into the deep end.
So Smoot heads off. Justin Tryon's return is questionable, a hip pointer. Redskins already without D'Angelo Hall. And following the penalty for 12 men on the field, it's a first and goal for the Eagles from just inside the 1.
And that's the big thing. You know, they had a really nice play on that first goal line run by the Eagles and got up there and stuffed everything.
They're playing the run really hard. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little play action here or something.
Rocky McIntosh came up to make the tackle.
I don't know who's standing right over the center, but that is I think it's H.B. Blades. Was it H.B. Blades? Is he in? Somebody did a great job as a stand-up linebacker right over the center that got inside. They're lucky they didn't have a holding penalty call. It's LaRon Landry, number 30. What a great job. I thought it was a linebacker. Watch LaRon Landry, number 30. They're lucky they don't get a holding penalty right there called, too. And now you've got second and goal back at the 11.
Well, Todd Hermans needs to come down and solidify that A gap. That's right where he came in. You cannot have a gap on the goal line in those A gaps. You must protect them on either side of the center.
McCoy in for Buckley off the Way fake to Weaver. McNabb to the end zone, intended for Selleck.
This is great recognition by the Washington defensive coaches. On that previous play, they knew it was going to be run. They had LaRon Landry walked up in the A gap. Now on this one, all of a sudden Greg Blosh gets him on the outside, knows they're going to do play action pass. They're getting a great tell on either the formation or the personnel that the Eagles are running down here at the goal line.
I think they're a play late on running that play action.
Yeah, right?
Man.
Now Buckley back in for McCoy.
Now this is the lineup we had when LaRon Landry walked up in the middle. Heavy run.
3rd and goal. Buckley, touchdown.
Good job by that left side of the offensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles. Created a big hole for Eldra Buckley.
I like that final play calling right there. You're going to go in, you go and pound them. You put the pressure on. Although Washington's defensive line played a great 3 downs, you got to play all 4 of them.
Well, here's the critical play now. We talked about that field goal for the Washington Redskins and maybe a conservative approach, but it made it a 1-possession, 8-point game. So the Eagles have to go for 2 here to tie it up.
Eagles call timeout. First career touchdown for Eldra Buckley.
You bring in King Dunlop, you put him on the opposite side. You bring in Alex Smith at your tight end spot, get him in the backfield in an offset power eye, and then you run away from it. That's a pretty good play design right there.
Yeah, that's nice.
And now the Eagles will go for 2 for the first time this season.
There's that really, really slow start to the second half for this Eagles offense. 4 drives, only 25 yards, and a turnover.
Well, the Eagles did just burn a timeout. They should have had that 2-point conversion play ready to go, but they didn't. So one of their timeouts is gone because of it.
And the Eagles, who trail by 2, going for 2. McNabb, shovel pass, and diving in.
Great effort.
It's
unbelievable.
Looked initially like he would be stopped, but McCoy takes it in for the 2-point conversion.
It looked like he was going to be stopped 3 yards short of the goal line. Gets tripped up by one of his players, but what great balance to get in that end zone and sniff it out.
Alex put out the recycling on
There's Jason Avant. 2 catches, 66 yards on the drive. Eagles drive 90 yards and tie the score on the Buckley touchdown and the 2-point conversion by McCoy.
Everybody looks at the game of football and you see the physicality of it, but there's also an emotional element to it, and the Philadelphia Eagle offense was absolutely flat. Jason Avant is the guy that got everything turned around for him on that last drive.
Akers kickoff, taken at the 1 by Devin Thomas. And Thomas is brought down at the 15-yard line by Joe Mage.
And now it starts to spread. I mean, the kickoff coverage unit for the Eagles has not been very good today. That's their best job by far. So the emotion created by the offense just carried over to the special teams of the Eagles. Now it's their defense's turn to see if they can match it.
Emotions is the same thing as momentum. And this crowd is into it now too, Daryl. They're all up on their feet. They want to see this defense go and shut this Washington Redskins team down.
First and 10 from the 16-yard line off the fake to Cartwright. Wide open is Malcolm Kelly, and he picks up a Redskins first down, a gain of 23, and that quiets this Eagles crowd.
Oh, what a great play. They went after it, went for the big play. Don't be conservative. Watch the read keep inside to Rock Cartwright. Jason Campbell pulls it, not Santana Moss short. Look at everybody jump. And he finds Malcolm Kelly down the field for the big play. Nice design, nice execution by Jason Campbell.
From the 39, Cartwright with Sellers leading the way. Cartwright takes it out to the 42-yard line. Gain of 3. Sheldon Brown made the tackle. Mike Sellers is the injured Redskin. Mike Sellers in his 12th season went to his first Pro Bowl last year. And we've talked throughout the game about all of the injuries suffered by the Redskins this season.
There he is leading Rock Cartwright on the edge. Oh, you got to be ready. I mean, Mike Sellers is a big guy, and when he comes out on the edge, you got to be ready for those safeties to go down low and take your legs out. And Quentin Michael got up underneath him.
Good thing was that his foot wasn't in the turf when he actually got the hit. It was up in the air. So that's one good thing about that play.
Redskins placed their backup fullback Eddie Williams on injured reserve just 6 days ago. Without two running backs in Clinton Portis and Lizelle Betts. Second game of our Fox doubleheader coming up. Many of you will see the Bears against the 9-1 Vikings or the Cardinals and the Titans. Mike Sellers will limp off. Redskins and Eagles tied at 24. Just under 7 minutes remaining in the fourth.
And here's the value of Rock Cartwright right now. I guarantee if Mike Sellers is unable to go, that Rock Cartwright moves to fullback, and then Quinton Ganther and Marcus Mason handle the running back spot. I mean, the guy just does whatever you ask him to do. As you pointed out, losing their other fullback last week to IR when he broke his leg at practice, they came in with just Mike Sellers at the fullback spot. So to be able to keep that personnel group, they can bring Todd Yoder in the backfield like they're doing now, or move Rock Cartwright up.
Yoder a backup tight end, and with Yoder leading the way, Cartwright takes it out to the 44-yard line, tackled by Trent Cole, gain of 3.
Put a little extra tape on Mike Sellers' ankle. Shore that thing up a little bit. Amazing what a little tape will do.
We're down at 5. Campbell to Cartwright, a penalty flag. Cartwright tackled at the 46, 3 yards shy of the marker.
And Washington was just never quite sure what they were going to do from a protection standpoint.
Offense, number 74. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
There was just too many green and black jerseys coming through that offensive line. And you saw the last-minute adjustment by Jason Campbell with Fred Davis moving him and then kind of jumping into that shotgun. So that message did not get relayed across the front, and there was a blown protection.
Somebody came scot-free on that play.
More than one.
Wow.
Walter Smith punting from his own 35.
Wow, that's a weird one.
Macklin lets it go, and it rolls into the end zone for a touchback. So with 5:35 remaining in a tie game, Donovan McNabb will lead the Eagles offense out.
Well, a really slow start for the Philadelphia Eagles here in the second half. Fred Davis gets the Redskins right on the board, and then it just kind of sat there for a long time. The Redskins added a field goal to go up by 8. They come back, get the touchdown by Eldra Buckley, and then just a great effort by LaShawn McCoy on the 2-point play to get us knotted up here at 24 apiece.
So the Eagles, who went 3 and out on their first 3 possessions of the second half. Then McNabb was picked off by Justin Tryon, followed by a 90-yard scoring drive. Now the Eagles from their own 20. Here's McCoy. McCoy found a big hole and picks up a first down. Tackled from behind by Philip Daniels after a gain of 12.
Philip Daniels has had a huge afternoon today on that defensive line for the Redskins.
He could have saved 7 points on that one. I'll tell you what, him turning and running and tackling McCoy, that was very dangerous. Very dangerous. LaShawn McCoy in that atmosphere back there with only defensive backs, it could have been a lot bigger than it was.
From the 32 on first down, Weaver. Weaver gains 5 out to the 37-yard line. We welcome those of you who have just joined us here in Philadelphia. Redskins and Eagles are tied at 24. Kenny Albert with Daryl Johnston and Tony Siragusa. Redskins led 24-16. Eagles drove 90 yards on their last possession. Tied the game on a 2-point conversion. 4.5 to play, 2nd and 5. Eagles from their own 37-yard line. As Donovan McNabb fires downfield, and Jeremy Maclin makes the catch at the Redskins' 28-yard line. A 35-yard pass play.
I mean, they just sit there all this half, inept most of the time, and all of a sudden this Eagle offense just takes off. And the last drive, as you pointed out, Kenny, 90 yards for the touchdown. And here's the real scary part is how much speed and athleticism is on the outside. Deshaun Jackson is not here, but it was Jason Avant on the last drive. This drive, it's Jeremy Maclin.
Deshaun Jackson suffered a head and neck injury earlier in this half. We welcome another new audience. Redskins and Eagles tied at 24. 1st and 10 from the Redskins 28 as LaShawn McCoy takes it down inside the 23-yard line. As we approach 4 minutes remaining here in Philadelphia in a tie game. Eagles led by 2 at the half. Redskins took an 8-point lead. 2 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions for Jason Campbell. Both teams without a number of key players. Eagles tied the score on their last drive with an Eldra Buckley touchdown, first of his career, and a 2-point conversion by LaShawn McCoy. 2nd down and 8. Number 26, it's McCoy. McCoy down to the 23-yard line, gain of 3. Reed Downey made the tackle.
You just worry whether this Redskin team is going to be able to finish out this game. And we had the Giants and the Falcons last week, and the Giants are in the midst of a 4-game losing streak. And Tom Coughlin talked about needing the reinforcement of success. You know, you work hard every week to get ready for the game, but there's no validation. And then Washington's in the same situation. Just a unbelievably tough loss last weekend to the Dallas Cowboys, 7-6. And boy, it seems eerily similar right now with the Eagles driving.
3rd down and 5. McNabb to the near side. It's Maclin. And Jeremy Maclin picks up another Eagles first down at the Redskins 17.
Jeremy Maclin working on the outside with Kevin Barnes. Just a step too late getting there to get that deflection.
You mentioned, Daryl, last week in Dallas. Redskins led 6-0. Cowboys scored the game-winning touchdown with 2:41 remaining. Redskins have played well the last 3 weeks. Beat Denver 2 weeks ago. Involved in a tie game today with the 6-4 Philadelphia Eagles. As McCoy is tripped up from behind by Rocky McIntosh.
I was just wondering when Washington was going to start using their timeouts. Get one called here, then you'll get another one at the 2-minute warning.
This is the Redskins' 2nd timeout. They used one on offense earlier in this half.
Well, the Eagles started the game with an onside kick. It was there to be converted, but they messed it up. They touched it too early, didn't execute it. Washington took that down, took a 7-0 lead. But somehow they let Deshaun Jackson get behind everybody. But the Redskins came right back. Santana Moss. And then to start this half, they get into Fred Davis, kick a field goal. They're up 24-16. Eldra Buckley goes over, and then LaShawn McCoy, just a great individual effort on the 2-point play to get it to 24-24.
Remember, before that Eagles scoring drive, Redskins were held to a field goal, so they led by 8. And then the Eagles tied the game thanks to the 2-point conversion. 2nd down and 11. Here's McCoy. And McCoy takes it down to the 13-yard line. Reed Downey made the tackle, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning here in Philadelphia with the Redskins and Eagles tied at 24.
Today's game.
Get customizable NFL gear exclusively at NFLshop.com. And today only, take 20% off your order.
Back in Philadelphia, tied at 24. Eagles facing a 3rd down and 6 from the Redskins 13.
And they've been really, really well. They're 3 for 3 on this drive. They were 2 for 10 at one point in this game, but have picked that up. None bigger than this one right here.
McNabb rolling right on 3rd down and 6. Can't find it when he slides. And now the Eagles will send out the field goal unit. Redskins use their final timeout.
I mean, if you convert that 3rd down, that's going to allow you to burn this clock all the way down, leave Washington with virtually no time on the clock after you kick your field goal. Chris Wilson has had 2 huge plays this half. He got the hit on Donovan McNabb for the Justin Tryon interception that led to a field goal, and he just played that bootleg absolutely perfect.
Well, David Akers, who is 3 for 3 today, comes on to attempt a go-ahead field goal. Second game of our Fox doubleheader coming up. Many of you will see the Bears and the Vikings, or the Titans and the Cardinals. Akers has hit from 29, 24, and 41. This will be a 32-yard attempt. Akers has converted his last 15 field goal attempts this season. Siragusa will put it down at the right hash. Akers' kick is good. So with 1:48 remaining, the Eagles lead by 3.
Well, with a divisional opponent last time out, the Washington Redskins had the ball at the end of the game, down 7-6 in Dallas. They're going to get a chance today, down 27-24 here in Philadelphia.
They got to make some smart decisions, though. They're going to come all the way down the field, and they got to have a little sense of urgency. They've been slacking off here in the 4th quarter as far as getting to the line of scrimmage and getting back to the ball. So we'll see what happens here with 1:48 to go.
The Redskins led by 8 with 7.5 minutes remaining. The Eagles have scored the last 11 points. Great job by our entire crew. Producer Barry Landis, director Michael Frank, associate directors Jeremy Green and Darren Foster, associate producer Chirag Devaskar, our technical producer David M. Hill, the technical director Chris Castro, senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown, executive producers of Fox Sports Ed Gorin and David Hill. Redskins are out of timeouts. 1:48 left to play. They trail the Eagles by 3.
Philadelphia's been struggling with their kickoff coverage most of the game today. Had a good one last time out. We'll see if they can get another one.
And for those of you in the home markets of the late games, in a moment you will be leaving this game, and we will be switching you to the start of your game. Kickoff by Akers, taken 1 yard deep by Thomas. Devin Thomas is tackled back at the 16-yard line by Moses Foku.
I'll tell you, 2 opportunities on kickoff coverage. They've struggled all day long, and this Eagles special teams unit has responded. Great job by Moses Foku coming all the way from the backside, running Devin Thomas down.
Moses Foku from Potomac, Maryland, University of Maryland product, with a big play on special teams. Redskins with no timeouts, empty backfield, 4 receivers set from the 16-yard line. Campbell's pass was intended for Thomas. Trent Cole with the pressure.
You've got 5 offensive linemen, and you've got 4 guys rushing. Whoever the extra guy is, somebody turn out to your left and help Levi Jones with Trent Cole. Trent Cole has been a beast all afternoon.
All day long.
It's 5-on-4. Somebody go out to the left.
I mean, if you're going to double somebody, that's the guy you want to find, and that's the guy you want to double.
Exactly.
Because if they can get pressure with 4, it's going to be no good.
Campbell over the middle on 2nd and 10. A diving attempt by the tight end Davis.
Fred Davis coming in from the right side of your screen. Good protection that time, clean in the pocket. He just got to bend that a little bit more. That will come with experience. Right now, he's making it easy for Will Witherspoon to cover him because he's getting straight down the field. He's got to bend the top of that route to give Jason Campbell a better angle on the throw.
3rd down and 10. Campbell to Randall. Nacho Harris bringing down Randall about a half-yard shy of a 1st down.
No timeouts, hustle up, 4th down. Here it is.
Jason Campbell needs to use his legs on this. If he doesn't have a receiver downfield, he needs to make that 1st down on his own.
Campbell on 4th and 1. Campbell throws, and the pass was short, intended for Santana Moss.
I think he got caught in between, Tony, whether to run or throw.
You got to make it that decision and make it a final decision. He had an opportunity to get the first with his legs, and he didn't take it.
Again, the offensive line keeps them pretty clean. And right there at that decision, they are lucky. They got away with one right there. Juquay Parker could have gotten a 15-yarder because he spun him to the ground. Watch this. He's on top of him, but now kind of the slam. They got lucky that they don't have a 15-yard roughing the passer penalty on top of it with Washington still with the ball. They have been penalized in critical situations all day long. Andy Reid talked to Tony about it coming out at halftime, and they just dodged a big bullet right there, because that very easily could have been a 15-yard roughing the passer penalty.
And the Eagles are going to dodge an even bigger bullet as they trailed the Redskins by 8 there in the 4th quarter. Drove 90 yards to tie the score on a 2-point conversion. And then the go-ahead field goal by Akers. Eagles lead 27-24.
Talked to Andre Carter yesterday. He said the loss to Dallas, the toughest loss he's ever experienced in his NFL career. And I think that this one here is going to be a close second. 2 divisional games that you had in your grasp. You let them slip through. Again, it's just all the hard work, everything they've put into the last 2 games, and they have nothing to show for it except heartbreaking losses to division rivals.
Both on the road.
Both on the road, yep. I don't know what's going to happen with the changes in Washington this year, but I give a lot of credit to Jim Zorn to have his team playing the way that they're playing right now. Really, they're out of the playoff hunt. You know, they're what we call playing for pride. You're putting your performance on film for other people to see, your peers. And this Redskin team, we talked about it at the top. If you don't come ready to play football on Sunday afternoon against the Redskins, they're going to get you. They're going to get somebody by the end of the season.
They're going to play hard. That defense plays hard. They're well deserving of the 4th ranked in the NFL coming into this game.
As you saw, this is going to be the 9th consecutive road loss. Their last road win last November in Seattle. Redskins will tie a franchise record. They lost 9 in a row on the road back in the early 60s. Redskins will host the Saints next Sunday. Eagles win by the skin of their teeth, raise their record to 7-4. A game behind the Cowboys in the NFC East.
And they use this as that springboard. You talked about at the top, Kenny, the month of December. They're 11-3 over the last 3 years. So this is when the Eagles get hot and usually make a push, and that's what everybody's waiting on for the